Hello and welcome to another episode of The Grindbin. I'm Mike Wood.
I'm Chris Mann.
I'm Chris Hughes.
And I'm Bobby Trippett.
And today we're going to be talking about 1972's The Gore Gore Girls.
Time for a blood orgy.
Hey, Bobby, I got the money.
Yeah, I made the tea. But you're a hooker.
Get that goddamn thing out of your mouth.
I said it, knocker. Spooky got no real rhythm.
Hello, Mr. Man.
We're gonna play a little game, baby.
I just love funny games. Get a little girl all hot and horny.
This is Los Angeles.
How the hell would women live? I'm horny. And maybe Daddy wouldn't have had to kill himself because he couldn't get it up anymore. What a shame.
Come on, just step on the gas before we get creamed. And more.
So, Bobby, as you mentioned, the real title of this movie, or original title, was Blood Orgy.
Indeed.
That's what it says in the credits for the nice DVD copy we all watched, or Blu-ray copy, or whatever the hell this is.
Yeah.
From a movie that probably should have never had any sort of restoration. The picture quality is excellent,
Love it,
which
yeah.
is terrifying.
Yeah, it's pristine.
Well, I think it comes down to who made it. It's Herschell Gordon Lewis. And he's a
right.
big deal to Grindhouse cinema. So people want to preserve the stuff that he did.
Yeah.
So finally, after all this time, it takes a Patreon to select a Herschell Gordon Lewis movie, The Gore Gore Girls.
The man that brought you Blood Feast.
And it's, for about 30 years, was his final film.
Yeah, I'm going to get into it. It's very interesting, actually.
Yeah, I have no idea who this guy is, so I don't know why this is special.
He's,
So-
he's been
let
given
me-
the moniker the Godfather of Gore.
Yeah, let me. I have a whole great
Yeah,
bio
we'll
on
get
him and
to it.
everything.
Yeah.
So before we get to his bio, I'm just going to say the budget of this movie was $63,500, and it was shot in 2 weeks.
Wow.
2 weeks.
That's impressive. 2 weeks, that's impressive.
And it probably did okay. So, as Bobby said, Herschell Gordon Lewis, director, producer of this movie. Not the writer, but he might have been the writer, actually.
Pretty sure.
We're going to get into that.
Yeah.
He did do the music as well. He scored every one of his
Oh.
movies, but used a pseudonym for his
pretty cool.
scoring. And I would say that this is... The best way I could describe Herschell Gordon Lewis is like John Waters, but of gore movies. Because he has the same bizarre aesthetic as early John Waters movies. Like, this is very similar to Female Trouble or Pink Flamingos to me.
I did not feel... I like Female Trouble and Pink Flamingos, and I did not
Well,
get that from this movie.
I agree in the sense that Herschel's whole thing was like pushing the envelope as hard as he possibly could and considering his time period, this predates the existence of slasher movies.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so for the time period when he was doing this shit in the 50s, 60s, 70s, like people were losing their minds.
Oh, it was
They've never
very-
seen
yeah,
anything
very
like the
visceral.
stuff he
It's like
does in his movies.
What John
And not
Waters
just in terms
does...
of gore, but in just everything
Yeah.
that he was doing.
Yeah.
He was doing all the stuff you're not supposed to be allowed to do in movies.
The people that would watch a John Waters movie back then would also watch a Herschell Gordon Lewis movie. John Waters was like doing the sex side of it, and he's doing the violence side of it. And they both have very similar aesthetics, I think, even the music choices and everything, because there's a lot of John Waters movies, even recent ones, that use like Herschell Gordon Lewis music stylings with like strip shows and stuff, and it's very similar, especially in Pecker. There's parts where like one of the characters is watching all these like old time nudie films, and I
Yeah.
swear to you, I think some of them might be Herschell Gordon Lewis movies.
I do recall a scene in Serial Mom. There's a VHS rental store.
Yes, yeah. Oh, that was it. It was in Serial Mom. One of the
Yeah.
friends is watching those Chesty Anderson or whoever
Yeah.
it is. Not Chesty Anderson, but it's,
Debbie Does Dallas?
no. It's this bizarre lady that had giant breasts who
Yeah.
made 2 movies. It was called like Agent Double something or other. It's like Chesty Morgan or something like
Right.
that. But she has giant boobs that she uses as like, she's a secret agent. And so she has like a camera in her boobs and everything.
Okay.
And he pays homage to it in Serial Mom because one
Yeah.
of the characters is watching it. The movie itself is unwatchable, but like you watch that and you're like, what the hell is he watching? And you go look it up and you're like, this is just a side of movies I didn't know existed.
Which one? What, Serial Mom's unwatchable?
No.
No.
The
one he's
actual
moving.
movie
Okay,
with
I
like
was gonna
Chesty
say.
Morgan or whoever
Right,
that was.
okay,
Yeah.
okay.
But the director, Herschell Gordon Lewis, as Bobby said, given the moniker Godfather of Gore, as he's known, was a filmmaker from Pittsburgh who's an amazing marketer and promoter of his own films. You see, he was never intending to make movies because of art. He wanted to make movies to make money. And that's why he found out, hey, you know what? If you make these movies with this violence and shit in them, people will like pay a lot of money to go see it.
He very much caught the side lateral from William Castle. He tossed him the ball, and Herschel kept running with it.
Yeah,
They're very similar.
His first movies were, and by the way, some of these were very successful. His older movies, and despite their lack of quality, they did get big audiences and super low budgets because of the salacious and gory nature. And controversy sells. He's living proof.
Yeah.
I mean, this is it. I'll give you a good example. Well, he started before he made this movie. He started with like a couple movies, like small nudie films in the 60s, where it's like you would have these bizarre like movies where girls would just take their tops off because you can't really like see that anywhere. So they'd make these movies that would be like excuses for nudity, but you couldn't do a full-on porno. So it'd be
You
like
had to artfully take off her clothes?
yes. So he would like score it with this, jazzy music, like
Big band music.
Yeah, and
Which
then
we get
like
in this too.
they would do a bunch of ones where like guys would
Like a
peek
fucking
on women.
marching band went by while she
Yeah.
was stripping.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Hail to the chief. But yeah, he would do those nudie films where like a guy would like peek over a fence at a lady changing or something.
I'm just picturing Herschel crouching under some bleachers with a recording device, just catching some high school marching band practicing. He's like, I'm using this.
Yeah.
He apparently spent a lot of time scoring his movies, like was obsessive about making the music and everything. And in one of the movies, he said that it took him 3 times longer to score it than it did to film it. So he was obsessive about it. Nobody really paid attention to those nudie movies, but in 1963, he made a movie called Blood Feast.
Yeah.
That's really his coming out.
The controversy which surrounded this movie was extensive, but it was also a marketing innovation because the producer, for a movie that cost $25,000, decided to get a bunch of people to go see it by going to movie theaters where they were showing it and handing out barf bags to people waiting in line, not even for the movie, just other movies. And it said, you may need this when you see Blood Feast.
See, that's why I liken him to William Castle. It's the
That-
same
totally.
shit.
That was the same shit that
Totally.
they did for Exorcist eventually too. Where
Yeah.
like, oh, people are having mania and passing out in the
I love it.
theaters. And
Yeah.
I love it so much. They recently, someone pulled that because there was a the movie Raw. Have you heard of that?
Yes.
The French
The
movie
French
about
cannibal
cannibalism.
movie.
A news article started going around circulating that a person died watching it.
Yeah.
And
not
yeah,
true.
bullshit, especially after
I
watching
mean,
the movie.
maybe somebody had a heart attack in it.
But that's what they were
happened.
claiming
Yeah.
is that a person got so like shocked that they seized up.
That's what they do now for cans. They're like, oh, the audience walked out in disgust. And then you see the movie, you're like, it's not even that bad.
You market it that way now.
But this was like an innovative technique of like, we're just going to, make it like, oh, you won't be able to believe this movie and get people in with the barf bags and everything. And it was a massive success. So he would basically go between gory exploitation films and still a little bit of those nudie films and then other random movies. But the biggest one he made right after Blood Feast was 2000 Maniacs.
1 year later.
In 1964. And then he kind of strayed away from gory pictures with a movie called Moonshine Mountain. And then in 1965, he made a movie that was rated PG called Monster A Go-Go.
Which was actually a partially finished film that he picked up and finished himself. That one featured on MST3K.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I haven't seen that one.
I forget what season. It's one of the older ones.
But he would never stray too far from the films that made him a success and made him money. Gore Gore Girls was the last movie he directed until around 2002, so a 30-year break.
Jesus.
In those 30 years, he taught English literature. He wrote 32 books on advertising.
Jesus Christ.
And he ran a successful ad agency before he eventually got back into filmmaking when he realized that people were interested in his movies. Like he basically,
came back around.
This would be
Cool.
the time where you
Thanks,
just
Rob
put a
Zombie.
movie out. Yeah. You'd put a movie out and people would see it in the drive-in and you never hear from it again. It'd make its money on its run. And then for some reason, people were digging up the reels of these old movies and like replaying them. And he's like, oh, I guess people like that.
Oh, there ended up being a huge market for it. Stuff like The Wizard of Gore was another one they did back in 1970, and people went nuts for this stuff. But by the time he got to like Gore Gore Girls, it had been said by some critics that like he had turned into a parody of himself. As we'll see when we get into the film itself, like he pushed so hard on the extreme that it became silly.
So maybe that's why I didn't like get that thing. This didn't seem like art to me. This movie.
Well, he was not an artist.
No.
He'd have said
No,
so
come
himself.
he doesn't like. There's a reason
Yeah.
that they didn't spend any time on the script or
Yeah.
anything like that. This is just all like we're
Controversy
gonna film a
creates
movie in
cash,
2
man.
weeks.
It's
You
true.
know, we just got to smash a lady's head in.
He's
That's
just
it.
trying to shock the shit out of you, so you'll go tell your friends about it, and everyone's gonna have to see what you were talking about.
But I honestly think like, and I don't know if you guys feel the same way. Like I found this movie like bizarrely charming in a way.
I do too.
Oh, I found no charm in
I
this
do too.
movie.
I'm kind of with the other two guys, Hughes. It's weird. I'm torn because like I can't say I liked it, but I'm fascinated by it.
Yeah, it's not
Right.
like it's like bad. I was actually like entertained
There's
watching
a weird
it.
charm to it. It's mostly because of our lead, but we'll get into that.
It's so
Oh, God,
bizarrely
yeah.
self-aware.
Sleazy Poirot.
Yeah.
That's exactly what he's doing.
It is the most self-aware movie I've seen, where it's just like they really don't give a shit at all.
And that's kind of what the critics were saying at the time, is that it got so self-aware and so winky wink to the camera that they're like, what is he even doing anymore?
Yeah.
I
almost-
like that a guy who was never trying to be an
Yeah.
artist had people going, hey, he's kind of lost his
He's lost his magic.
spirit as an artist.
Yeah.
It's almost like he doesn't care anymore.
Yeah, it's like he never cared in the first place.
Yeah.
So, unfortunately, he did pass away just recently.
He made it to
Yeah.
90 years
Yeah,
old.
he was
Wow.
90 years old, 2016. And it's been almost 2 years on this podcast, and we've never done one of his movies yet, which is kind of a shame.
That is.
in this regard, because he's a pioneer when it comes to the exploitation genre.
So
was
I
a
think
matter of
that's why
time.
you guys have a love affair for this, because you know who this guy is in his history. And you've seen his earlier stuff, and
Yeah.
you have that. I'm coming into this because every movie sucks that we cover on here. Like, and some I find charming,
Yeah.
and some I like.
You get it.
And this one,
Yeah.
this one just straight.
You'll come around
sucked
eventually.
To me. I'm never going to seek out any of these films.
I might say that this might be one of my favorite Herschel Gordon Lewis movies.
Oh wow. Really?
I just really like the whole self-aware nature of it. Like,
Yeah.
he just totally didn't give a shit.
Yeah.
And was like, you know what? I don't give a shit so much. I'm just going to have people talk straight to the camera. I'm going to break the fourth wall
Love it,
multiple
yeah,
times.
yeah.
Fuck it. I don't care.
For anyone who is interested in getting into Herschel Gordon Lewis, Arrow Video released a big ass box set that's out
Ooh.
right now. It's
Oh,
like
nice.
$115 or something
Oh,
like that.
shit.
But it's
Not
pretty
nice.
much. It's like with bands. They put out the big omnibus thing of like every album. So they've touched up and remastered like all of his old shit.
Wow.
together in one big box set. It's called The Feast.
Looks like I'm saving $115.
It's a 17 disc box set
Of Herschel Gordon Lewis?
Wow.
with 14 of his movies.
Wow.
Wow.
Does it include this one?
got
Yes,
it.
it does.
Cool.
That's probably where the high def
I'm-
of this came from.
Yeah.
Is it-
Along with She Devils on Wheels. Let's see, The Wizard of Gore.
I'll buy the shit out of
Color
that.
Me Blood Red, 2000 Maniac, Scum of the Earth, Blood Feast. It's everything.
Oh, dude,
So if you've
hell
got
yeah.
if you got $115 on you on Amazon,
yeah.
you can get a big ass Blu-ray box set of all of his shit.
I'm waiting for the 4K version.
yeah, let's wait a little bit. I'm not gonna lie, I'm considering it too.
I am too,
the
man.
UHD version.
How is
yeah.
the box set look cool? Does it come like a cool,
It's
like
The Feast.
It does actually.
You touch it and, like, blood
There's a big
comes-
there's a cartoon drawing as the cover of him eating a bowl of blood soup with a big like.
That's fucking cool.
It's pretty badass.
That's cool.
nice.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm showing
in.
it to the guys right now.
I'm in.
It's got this big spiral behind it. It's like an old
Yeah.
Steranko drawing of Nick Fury.
Yeah.
Like, it's so well done. It's insane. Yeah. Money well spent.
That's
I'd
how
say.
you win me over. Is good
Oh,
packaging.
it's DVDs and Blu-rays for anyone who
Oh,
wants to.
shit.
That's why it's 17
The double.
discs.
What's on the? That's your.
No, it's so whatever player you have at the time. If you want to take
Oh,
some
so-
on the
but
go,
you get both
it's like
on-
the double packs where you
But
buy
you
one.
s- okay, so you still get the same movies
You
on
get all
Blu-ray.
17 movies on Blu-ray,
Yeah.
but you also get all 17 movies on
okay.
DVD.
Yeah.
Okay.
And digital download, I'm sure.
Download
Yeah.
codes for all of them. It has like a
Yeah.
28-page booklet. It's a great thing. I am being
Oh.
paid by Arrow Video to say this.
Does it come with a meat tenderizer?
Oh, it should.
So the screenwriter for this movie, Alan J. Dockman, only credit, which leads me to believe it was probably Lewis. So
Yeah.
he's like, I can't credit myself with everything. I'm not that big of an asshole. You know, I'm not a John Rad or something. I'm not going to just put my name on for,
Or Chester Novell
yeah,
Turner.
Chester Novell Turner. I'm not an auteur, and I never want to be recognized as one.
Yeah, you dicks.
The cast, again, really nobody you've ever heard of, because this is it.
Well, there's one.
Frank Kress. Well, yeah.
Maybe we'll get to him when we cover the film
No,
itself.
no. I don't worry. I got it.
Okay.
Later. Frank Kress, who plays Abraham Gentry, only
Gentry.
credit.
Gentry.
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 Only credit.
I fucking hated this character.
Oh my God! I
Yeah,
totally disagree.
absolutely hated this
Loved him.
character.
Honestly,
Great.
he is kind of why I kind of like this.
Me
movie.
This
too.
was like Peter Sellers was in a.
Oh god, this is horrible. I hated
And
this.
as I said earlier, he's Poirot. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's got the same kind of like he's picky and kind of irritable. He doesn't want people helping him.
I don't
He's
know
got
who
a cane,
Perot
you
is,
know?
but okay.
Poirot is a
Murder on the
Agatha
Choo Choo.
Christie character.
No idea.
Yeah, Murder on the Choo Choo. We just
Never
talked
saw
about
Murder on the Choo Choo?
No.
Murder on the Orient Express.
Oh, it's
That
on-
movie
No,
that
I know. I didn't see it. I know what you guys are
But that's who
talking
was playing
about.
against Poirot.
Not Daisy Ridley.
Oh, no, she's not back again. No.
Hello, you see my movie?
I thought that was his Margaret
I don't
Thatcher.
want to talk about it.
You like me? You not like me in a staff or wearing a
So-
lightsaber? What's your Doctor Who? Woo!
I loved your astral projections, Daisy. It was great. So Amy Farrell plays Nancy Weston, who I just called newspaper
All right.
in the movie because
Oh, reporter, yeah.
newspaper. Yeah, I just mostly
She's
was
the
calling
Lois
people.
Lane of this story.
Yeah, I was calling people like their profession.
More like Lois Lame, am I right, guys?
Hey! He's still thinking of our last thing we recorded, a Patreon episode on Hell Honey I'm Home, which was just released. Go check it out. $2 a month. Little as $2 a month.
Mein Gott.
And as high as 20. Big spender.
Yeah, a little bigger than Dugan. She only had 5 credits. This was her first movie.
I'm amazed she did 4 more.
Huh?
I'm kind of surprised she did 4 more.
She didn't do 4 more movies. She just had appearances on TV shows and then was only in one other movie,
Okay.
which was Airport 1975. That's
What year did they come out?
in 1974. That's the big
So,
kicker.
it's sci-fi.
It's the future. Hedda Lubin, who plays Marlene, or as I write down, Surly Waitress.
She's great in this too.
Yeah. First movie, and the only other thing she did was something in 1978 called A Wedding as an uncredited maid.
No, she literally showed up in a wedding and put it on her IMDb.
Maybe.
She added it to her credits.
She was an uncredited maid in that wedding.
always an uncredited maid, never a bride.
Yeah. Russ Badger, who plays the lieutenant, only credit. Now, I was surprised because this man, boy, what talent.
He's great too.
Everybody in this movie is pretty good. Like, I know you hated it, Hughes, but I was getting a kick out of every performance.
Yeah.
I didn't see a single performance.
Especially this man, Henny Youngman.
Important question. What speed were you watching this on?
Oh, full.
Okay.
Whoa,
Full steam ahead.
whoa. You watch this on 1 speed?
No,
No,
full
he's
speed.
saying that he fast forwarded
like
as fast as he could.
2.1.
I watched this shit on plaid, guys.
So everyone was talking like a chipmunk.
15-minute watch.
You secured all animals in the zoo.
I hope you watch this at home and somebody walked in while you were watching this and just
No.
like, what are you watching here?
No, man, it was. I didn't know
Really?
what
You
I
didn't-
was
you didn't-
watching.
You didn't pull your lady close to you and watch this
Uh-uh.
for date night?
It's
okay, I
with
wouldn't
that
either.
music, you know?
There's a bunch of like semi-naked girls on here. I never like. It was non-sexual the whole movie. It's terrible.
Yeah, that's. We'll get into that
Yeah,
too. I
yeah.
know what you're saying, and,
Yeah.
and
Nothing
Yeah.
like a hot light on a sweaty stripper with some Hail to the Chief playing
yeah, that's
in
the thing. Like
background.
a sweaty stripper who appears to have never done this before
In a basement.
to some drum line.
Some of it just looks
in a
like.
guy's basement.
Yeah, and nobody introduced
Like you shudder a little bit.
Yeah.
nobody apparently introduced Herschel Gordon Lewis to a soft light. They're like, no, just spotlight that shit up, man.
And why is there's a whole bunch of stuff to go over, but I mean, like half of it looked like the boomerang filter that you have on Instagram, where you take 2 seconds of a video and just play it over and over and over.
Yeah.
And every
Oh, there are
shot
stripper
is
moves
fucking,
that repeat. Like,
Well,
it's-
this is what I'm saying. Why it reminded me of John Waters, because he does this stuff as like a bizarre throwback to those nudie movies, where strippers will just do this like one move where they just go like like back and forth.
Like
But I think
yeah.
it frames it better because it doesn't get me as sick.
Oh, obviously frames it better. This is
I found every bit of this movie to be like amateurish and just shitty.
And I
it
think
was filmed in 2 weeks.
And I think that's what people appreciate about Herschel Gordon Lewis is like he's sleazy Icarus, man.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
doesn't have the means, he doesn't have the training, and he's fucking going for
he's
it.
a marketer. He doesn't
You know?
care. He's
Yeah.
not a filmmaker. He doesn't care. Like this is to make money. Like
I know. I was there for like when we were producing stuff in high school. This was on that level.
Yeah. And he found a
Yeah.
way to
And that's-
monetize that shit.
if only we could have monetized it,
Yeah.
you know?
Well, we could have, but then we would have been able to get jobs.
You could have been Herschel Gordon Hughes.
Yeah, Herschel
Yeah.
Gordon Hughes, HGH.
Herschel Gordon Lewis.
Usual.
So the last person we have, guys, Henny Youngman.
What the fuck? Did he accidentally hit Herschel with his car? Why is he in this?
I have no idea, but he shot his part in one day.
Sure did. And I gotta tell you, that violin gave the best performance.
So he is a like comedian, like a longtime comedian.
Are you familiar with the Muse?
No.
Have you heard the line "Take my wife, please"?
Oh God, yeah.
Mr. Youngman, everybody.
That was his joke. He kind of was one of the innovators of the one-liner style of humor.
Yeah.
He
like him and Don Rickles.
he was actually a violinist who happened to pepper his performances with jokes, like little one-liners, little bullshit, just to keep it lively. Yeah. And one night at a club where he played music, the comedian no-showed. And so he went, all right, I'll go up and try to entertain some people. So he just told some of his bullshit jokes that he'd make his friends laugh with, his little dumb one-liners, and play some violin in between. And the aristocrats. Suddenly,
he's like that.
He became like this huge deal.
There was that scene in Goodfellas where that
he's in
character-
Goodfellas as himself.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like the compared to somebody modern would be the guy with the piano.
Bo Burnham?
No, Tim Merchant or something.
Oh, Tim Minchin.
Minchin. There you go.
Tim Minchin puts a little more effort into it because he's like writing full songs and stuff like that. Ben Youngman is just getting up there going, let me tell you something about my wife.
I really like that. Like some guy doing like a type 5 on his wife or something like that. And then he goes like, and by the way, here's the Moonlight Sonata. Huh? And then just
can you imagine like you went to
Beethoven.
watch a violinist play a concert and between songs, just like, let me tell you something. And he's doing like fucking Dangerfield in between each thing. But he was huge for his time, and that kind of blew minds. And as he got older, he kind of played less of the violin, and that's why in this movie he's just telling jokes while holding a violin for no reason. It became his signature. He's the guy holding the violin.
You think like at some point he's like, his agent's like, Henny, we're getting a big problem because the comedy crowd is not mixing with the Mozart crowd. It's not going well. We need to maybe go to one side or the other.
What's especially bizarre is he wasn't an edgy comedian. Like his stuff was all friendly. It was Brian Regan of his time. Like you can show this to anybody. Families can watch this. What's he doing in the Gore Gore Girls?
He got paid.
Yeah.
He's like, a gig's a gig, Herschel.
Yeah.
What's this for?
You think Herschel is just a big fan?
What's this movie called? Blood Orgy?
Like how,
what's an orgy?
You know how like Rob Zombie is also a huge fan of the Marx Brothers? You think it was just one of those things? Or it's just like, and I like this old ass comedian.
Yeah, maybe. But he also did like a bunch of like blue jokes in this movie, so maybe it was like his chance to do it.
That was part of the pushing the
Henny
extremes.
goes blue.
Is you're gonna watch Henny Youngman tell like extreme jokes?
What is his one joke where he says?
I don't remember him in the movie.
He says
he's that
he's
club
the
owner
club
guy
owner.
who comes out and does a tight five.
He's
the
always
fucking
doing
old
stand-up.
guy.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Which guy is he in the movie? The guy doing stand up.
He's literally in the movie
Dolomite
for
of this movie.
5 minutes.
He shows up almost like watching a band perform. Henny Youngman just shows
He
up.
pulls a Dolomite. Like all he does is do
So
jokes.
he's
throughout the
technically
movie.
not playing himself. He just does his thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
What did he say? That one joke. He said something about somebody Tom Jones clapped his legs and something like he got arrested or some shit.
I don't remember what it was.
He was like Tom Jones clapped his legs and now he's in the emergency room.
We'll let you know when Man and I buy that box set.
Yeah, it's gonna happen.
It's like a whole running joke through Herschel Gordon Lewis's movies. Like you'll finally get the punchline. That Tom Jones punchline.
That's on
15 movies.
Disc 17, I believe.
His most famous joke, "Take my wife, please," happened by accident. He and his wife, they were actually very close. Like that was just the running gag thing. She kind of helped him write some of those wife jokes. But an usher was showing them to their seats, and he said, "Take my wife, please." And the guy started laughing. He went, "Oh shit, I should try that." He's like, "Oh yeah,
that's a good one.
Hey, I can make that work." And then like it's like his getter done,
wow.
Out of nowhere, it's like everyone was just like, "Tell that joke, say that one line, and we'll give you $1 million."
So he's in the middle of some like beautiful violin solo, and then just in the middle of it, he just pulls it down and goes, "Take my way, please," and then goes right back into it.
Yeah, it's the John Lovitz joke that he did on SNL, where he just
that's the ticket.
that's the ticket. Yeah,
with
over and over.
with that Morgan Fairchild. Check out our episode on Mob Boss.
So the last thing I have before we get into the movie, trivia-wise, this was the only movie that Herschel Gordon Lewis submitted to the MPAA, and it got an X rating. So yippee!
I think that was part of the marketing. You know what I mean? It's like there's no fucking question that's getting an X rating.
Because,
him.
well, like, okay, other than the gore, there's nothing obscene about this movie.
It's a bit of nudity, but not really.
But not obscene.
No.
R-rated nudity.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, R-rated nudity because there's full nudity. But the gore in this movie is so cartoonish. It's
I'm
just
curious
bizarre.
how we would have felt about it if it was done better. You know what I mean? If they had more money to put into it or more talented,
I feel
gore
like it
effects,
wouldn't come out.
I don't think
Yeah.
I'd enjoy this movie at all.
Same.
No,
Too much
no, no,
production
no.
value.
I don't want to watch that level of gore. Maybe I'm getting old. Yeah, I'm sure there was a time in my life I absolutely would have wanted that.
Even
but I
trauma
don't
movies
now.
aren't that bad.
Well,
Like,
there is a part of trauma that
This
is
feels very
bad.
trauma.
Oh,
Like, this
definitely.
Is Toxic Avenger.
Well,
killing people.
Lloyd Kaufman definitely
That's
paid
another
homage
person.
to this movie.
We can-
at the ending. I mean, come on.
I mean, that's part of the significance of Herschel Gordon Lewis is that all of us at this table, yourself included, Hughes, can name people who clearly were inspired by this.
Kansas bowling. All right.
Rodney,
You're back.
I didn't know you'd show up to want to talk about Herschel.
Okay, guys. So the movie starts with
Gore Gore Girls.
the Gore Gore Girls, or Blood Orgy, according to the credits.
As you
I'm
please.
saying. It just starts with a woman standing in front of a mirror and then smash.
I loved it. I'm like, we're
Nowhere.
starting strong.
Cold open is opening this
Yeah.
woman's body.
I mean, I kind of liked it. But I was just like, this
Did
is
you guys
insanity.
all jump too? Of just like Jesus Christ!
Yeah, I was like, whoa. We are
Yeah.
not holding back.
Not Hughes. Hughes was just yawned. He's just like whatever.
Like, I think my notes actually literally have that. Like, oh,
Is
she
it
just
because
died.
you watched it
Yawn.
on a fast speed that you didn't get like the out of nowhere because you hit play and then poof, it just happened?
Well, Mike has like desensitized me to gore because that's all we watched for
True. I can
like
agree with
8
that.
years straight. That's all we watched was gore films, and like
Okay.
I don't watch them anymore because
Dead Alive.
they don't like
Yeah.
they don't
City
do
of the
anything
Living
for
Dead.
me. Like he kind of ruined scary movies for me too because like I don't get scared at them. I laugh at them.
Right.
And
that is a thing that happens.
Well, I mean,
Sometimes people bitch that like a new horror movie kind of like it's not scary. Like you're watching too many.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have to appreciate it differently now.
Well, I've seen it in the theater too. It's a little bit different experience than at home. But I love this though. She's just doing her hair like da 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 da, boom. Just
And yeah, as
smash through.
you're putting a toe in the water of this movie, you're like, is this our protagonist? Who is this lady? Oh,
she did.
oh, okay. And it's very Giallo.
Yes.
Definitely.
Because we have the close-ups on like a black leather glove that's in like every Italian Giallo flick.
Well, and the special effects of every Giallo.
That too. We're basically watching an Argento movie, but
Yeah.
without the actual investigation.
Same
Yeah.
color of blood,
Just a
same
lot of-
angles.
Yeah, just a lot of paper mache
It's
people.
Herschel trying to do an American Giallo flick, and it just comes out so.
And I'll back it. Yeah.
So this
Yeah.
weird jazzy music plays as the movie starts. We get titles for a long time.
We get every credit in this movie because there is none at the
Yeah.
end.
Well, it's
Hughes, you
it's
told
'cause
us
the,
why you thought that, though. By the way, remember what
When
you
all
said?
the credits are at the start, you know the movie's bad because there's nobody left at the end.
Better get it out now.
And meanwhile, the Blood Orgy Jazz Trio is in the pocket.
They're on fire.
They're man. Like I want to go to the club where these guys are playing.
Yeah.
So then we got to a man reading. By the way, this movie actually reminded me of like just a more violent version of Bucket of Blood.
Oh,
it
yeah,
really did.
definitely.
In terms of the beatnik stuff and
Well,
everything.
yeah, that, but definitely different characters, like different
yeah.
tone.
But it
And
like
boy,
inhabits
that's the
the
difference
same
between
world.
Roger Corman and Herschel Gordon Lewis.
For sure.
Roger Corman's like trying to let this thing breathe a little bit. Herschel Gordon Lewis is like curb stomping.
He's like,
people.
boom! I'm gonna start my movie, smash a lady's face.
yeah, fuck you. Welcome to my movie.
So we got this man reading a newspaper with the killing advertised in it, and then he's holding a black cat, which we're only going to see in this scene because the door knocks, and then he just puts the cat in a cabinet, and you'll never see it.
Yep.
I had that in my notes. Like, wait, did he just put the cat in a cabinet?
Yeah.
That's his cat
I
cabinet.
loved it. Like
Yeah.
it was just
Man,
this
do you
weird
have a cat
joke.
cabinet? Is that how you do
Well,
it?
I mean, that's perfect
whole
for
house
like
is a
people
cat
like
cabinet.
you. You put your
You
cat
live
into
in
a
a cat
cabinet. You don't have to worry about them running out when you open the
That's
door.
fair.
No, but I know what the
This
funny
guy's got it
part is.
figured out.
It was just like, yeah, you'll never see this again, and just puts it in there like it was gonna be something. Like he
That's
has
a
cat-
deleted
Nope.
scene.
Yeah.
No, I think it was just a joke. It
I was
just
hoping
like-
the cat would make a comeback in the final scene. Just burst out of the,
The
cabinet
cat
like,
would-
haha!
The cat was the killer the whole time.
Oh, that would have been.
It's a sack of cats in a shirt.
Either that, probably, or at the end of the movie when he's telling her the whole movie again. 'cause
When he's
like,
laying
in
the
case
whole
you-
film out.
In case you didn't pay attention, here's the movie.
Yeah.
All of a sudden he goes, "Fuck my cat!"
That's the jump scare at the end. He casually opens a cabinet, a cat jumps out at him.
It's just a skeleton.
And
I
so
don't
he's reading the article, and I noticed this in the article when they show the newspaper that the girl who just got stomped through a mirror was named Susie Cream Puff.
Yeah, everybody
Yeah.
has a great name because they're all strippers apparently.
Every name in this movie is like a low rent Bond girl.
Except for the reporter. She's Nancy Weston.
Susie Weston.
Newspaper.
No, it's Tracy Weston.
Tracy Weston.
We all got it wrong.
Newspaper.
It's not Newspaper Weston. It's Tracy Weston.
I think her name is Miss Newspaper. And
Reporter
so
for the Globe.
So yeah, she comes to the door and she's like, "Hey, you're like a detective guy, and we want to hire you over at the Globe to investigate this murder that just happened. That apparently we already wrote a whole article about."
Yeah, because you're very, very smart. Smarter than everybody else.
Well, this is the Poirot thing. It's like, you're the world's greatest detective,
And have
Abraham
that
Gentry.
stash.
I'll give you $25,000 to solve this murder.
And he's like,
Got a sweet cane. That
Yeah, he
Oh,
does have a
God,
cane.
Yeah, I
He's
love
just
it.
swinging around a pimp cane for no reason.
and this guy chewing up the scenery the best he can.
Oh my
He
God.
is loving being
Yeah.
in this movie, just having the time of his fucking life. Which I think, like, I wonder if these people had only done one movie or they're using stage names because they're in a Gordon Lewis movie.
It's
And they're
hard to
like,
tell, man.
I think he just like went to a local theater and picked up some people.
Yeah, it definitely feels
Because
that
that's
way.
exactly
right.
what it feels
Oh
like.
God, because this guy on stage, he just
Can you imagine him off? I just imagine this guy off set and just hating him. Like just a fucking piece of shit,
he's
I'm
like,
the
I
lead."
played Loman last week in the Chicago running of Death of a Salesman, and this is below me.
My King Lear was the toast of Massachusetts.
And he's like, yeah, can you smash that lady's face in, please? Thank you. So he's like, yeah, okay, so I'm going to get $25,000 to investigate a murder. And she's like, here's $5,000 now. And he's like, all right, good. Movie start.
Let's go.
So then we
Kicks
go to
that cane up to his shoulder and walks on out.
So I like this is like the first thing he does is go to a strip club, and immediately I'm like, oh well, he's spending that $5,000 quick. Just go.
He's wasted no time.
All right.
Well, you got to make sure the money's good. It's like biting a coin.
Yeah. Gotta go.
You know who's going to know if this is counterfeit? Strippers.
All right. This strip club, by the way, I said strip club or basement.
As man
I'm
said
gonna say
earlier, this is a
basement.
guy's basement.
Yeah. This is.
I thought it was the VFW, man. Like the
I have it in my notes that they're in like a topless pizza place. Yeah. Like it felt like.
And the best part about this movie is that you find out that all the strip clubs in town, every strip club is in town is owned by the same person, employs the same people. Mm-hmm. And there's just like a big, it's like a big chain. It's
a big circle.
Clubs. Yeah. It's just like they have a bunch of them. And this
Well,
whole
it's
town.
like when you work retail jobs. Like you work at one Target, they can loan you out to other Targets if they're short employees.
Yeah, but apparently this guy's like, you know
I worked
what?
at 3 different Hollywood videos at one point.
Oh, wow.
Apparently at one
That's a very
point,
old thing to say.
That is.
this guy was like, you know what? I just got to buy all the strip clubs in town. Clamp this shit down, monopolize it.
Strip club monopoly.
Yeah. Strip.
I would buy
I'm
that.
gonna boardwalk. And so then some lady's dancing on stage with tassels while this jazzy music plays. She's doing her one move, as you said. Here's
Yeah.
like that Instagram filter. So she's just going back and
It's doing
forth.
like that Duke Nukem Sprite. You always kind of, as a 13-year-old,
And if
like,
it hits space bar, he's like, shake it, baby.
yeah.
and throws her
Doing a
money.
Duke Nukem stripper move.
God.
And so then Gentry, whatever you want to call him.
He orders a cordon bleu.
Right? And that's not a drink.
He orders a chicken stuffed
Yeah,
with ham.
he orders a chicken stuffed with ham. Yeah.
He does.
He orders
Which is a classy version of a turducken.
You know what would be great if she actually brought it back in a glass? Like just smashed in there.
Here you go,
martini
you
glass
fuck.
with a breaded chicken breast.
Okay, but this is when we get introduced
Cheese
to
melting down the side.
I would have died.
This is when we get introduced to surly waitress who just hates him for no reason, like literally no reason.
Honestly,
He's being a
no.
dick.
I don't know about no reason.
No.
No.
he's-
They
Look, she
start off on
walks
the wrong
up not in the
foot.
right
Yeah, he's just sitting there, and
Yeah.
she goes, "Hey!"
She's like
while he's
yelling at
watching
him.
the stripper, she goes, "Hey, hey!"
She's got a massive chip on her shoulder at everyone.
And he's like, "What? What?" And she's like, "What do you want to drink?" And he's like, "Oh, yeah, I'll have a cordon bleu." And she just gives him a look.
and she
he's
doesn't
like,
know what that means.
He's like, "Fine, I'll have a tonic water."
And as she's walking away, he shouts, "In a clean glass!" And I'm like, dude, you're in some dude's recording studio.
Yeah.
Like,
also,
this isn't.
also, now it's not clean.
Yeah. Don't fuck with
And-
people that are bringing you your fucking food, man.
Hey, don't spit in that cop's burger.
But what I think the best part is you go to a strip club here, he's on the case. Way to retain customers. You scream at them until they order a drink. Hey, fuck you. You haven't ordered a drink yet, huh?
This is like, have you ever seen the movie Aerobicide? Or AKA Killer Workout?
You had given me a copy of Aerobicide. I have not seen it yet.
Well, one of the lead characters, the woman who runs the club, is just from minute one openly hostile toward everybody.
Yeah, just like the woman that runs the strip club at the Showgirls.
Well, no, she's endearing,
Oh, she fucking
No,
insults
she's
everybody.
not the one who runs it. She just does the honk honk.
Honk,
and I
honk,
might
my titties
dress.
out.
Yeah,
All right.
she's the Henny Youngman of that club.
Take
She
my
does her
tits,
type.
please.
Yeah.
She's stripper Rickles.
Stripper Rickles. Oh my god.
So the dance is over. A few people clap. Like it's just like a smattering.
It is just like his best friends crowded in like a couple of chairs,
Like-
and this is a close up.
Like I've heard golf claps that are louder.
Yeah.
Like people are like, yeah, it's great.
My band in high school played backyard parties. I got better applause.
Yeah.
And Gentry holds up $1, right? So he just holds it up in his hand like a real asshole, just like waving it, like, "Come on." She comes over to him and he's like, see? So you knew the stripper that got killed, huh? And she's like, yeah. She was a big tease, apparently, is what we learned.
She doesn't put out. She
Sydney
always
Cream
gets money.
Puff. Big tease of the strip club circuit.
Is that the point of strip clubs, though? Just
Yeah.
she was doing her job. So
Yeah, it's like she's a tease. She didn't understand. You got to fuck the client.
Like if you're playing a game of Guess Who, you've clicked none of those.
Right.
With that bit of information. Is
Right.
she a tease? Yes.
damn.
Well, I can't do anything with that. And looking at some of the I'm noticing because of the time period, I'm looking at all the other guys that are in the strip club too, and every single person in this movie we've seen so far looks like he's opening for Wolfmother.
Oh God.
So she's apparently teased some student real bad, so bad that he brought a check
For $200.
for $200 addressed to cash, and I was just like, wait, hold on, a check?
Even writing checks at a strip club.
Even a check like that says cash. That's insane.
Yeah.
Like, no,
I'm not taking that.
It's like a rub and tug that takes credit card.
she take a check. Yeah, she's gonna be like, okay, I'll give you a dance now, but if this check gets returned, I'm taking that dance back. You owe me one. And
Some poor schmuck trying to get a lap dance talking about Bitcoin.
yeah, do you take bitcoins at the strip club? And so then on his. Okay, so basically, no, this isn't the lady that he takes with him. He finds out something about this guy, like his name or something.
Yeah,
like that.
for some reason she tore up this check, and then they kept the torn up check in the till.
So as like a sign of disrespect, because she's such a tease, she took his $200 check and ripped it up on stage to embarrass him, and then they said that, oh no, but I think somebody kept it in the cash box.
You guys were approaching this movie knowing that it wasn't going to be coherent, and I approached it as like any other movie that I slowly find out it's not coherent, but I don't know if it's purposely not.
I don't
didn't
know.
know that
I didn't go into it expecting it to be incoherent. I expected it to be garbage.
Yeah. Definitely.
Like sleazy trash, but I thought he'd at least be coherent.
So hold on, Hughes. By this moment in the movie, like 15 minutes in, you thought you were watching a
like a semi-serious, like something being taken serious.
the cat in the cabinet and the woman's face getting rammed into a mirror wasn't clue enough.
No,
Hey, I appreciate that you're willing to give it that much of a chance.
He's like, okay, I'm up to but this check shit, no.
well, just when shit stops making sense.
It's like you're listening to a song, like it's gonna come together. This
Just
is
like
the
what
intro.
was the other movie where we were trying to figure out who the killer was,
It's one of those polyrhythmic.
and they were
things.
wearing the motorcycle mask, and then they turned out to be in two places at once.
Psychomania?
Moving Target with Jason
Oh, yeah,
Bateman.
you wouldn't know that, man. But
right.
Moving Target with Jason Bateman. Wonderful movie.
that's how I approach this movie. Is like they're going to at least try, and I know this is going to end horribly.
Yeah.
Or he's going to be the killer. It's like those are the two ways.
Can we eventually do every movie that has a person in a black-clad motorcycle outfit?
We might.
Because there's a bunch of those. That's almost a genre to itself.
Well, we might have to do like
cool.
every Giallo movie at some point.
We can do
They're
that.
not wearing motorcycle helmets, though.
We can do the Wraith.
Well, I bet there are a few.
We can do the Wraith.
People have already done that movie though. So on the way
Everybody's done
out,
the fucking movies we've covered.
huh?
People have done the movies we've covered.
Yeah, some of them, but not like big podcasts. So, on the way out, he gives the empty bottle to a waitress, and she gets all the surly waitress gets all pissed or something. He's like,
Well, because he had that. He's like, "You want a tip?" And he just hands it to her.
yeah, well, she was being a bitch. I mean, she was a total jerk to him the second he sat down.
He's a pretentious asshole.
What he says to her is particularly fucked, too. He says, I thought I'd give you a little tip. Girl like you ought to know what to do with this. And he hands her an empty bottle. Like,
Also, I didn't think it was fully empty because I saw some water splash out, which
Yeah,
is
I saw
even
that
better.
too.
A little
I saw that.
salt in the wound, you know?
And
so,
then there's that fucking horn that goes off.
yeah,
There's a
like
horn that
little
goes off that plays like the audience is laughing, but it's a horn.
I thought the DJ was like, brr, 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 brr. Every time he insults somebody.
There's a lot of like Eddie Deason stings in this
Right.
movie where they go like,
Which you guys hate for Eddie Deason, but for some reason you'll give this guy a pass.
Because it's not Eddie Deason.
yeah. Oh
There's
my
a
God.
big difference.
If this, like,
Oh
There
my
wasn't to me.
God.
There
Eddie
wasn't
Deason
to me.
solving a Gore movie.
Deason in a Herschel Gordon Lewis movie.
no, this, because it would have been a Fred Olin Ray movie. That's just like this, but way worse. So outside, the lady who works for the paper, so newspapers, waiting by his car. And she's just like, hey, what you doing? I'm trying to see where our money's going. And then he says, he like insults her or something.
He wants nothing to do with her.
So she immediately is like wanting it bad. And apparently this guy is irresistible to women. Because every woman he meets
look at him.
in this movie, they're like, I got to get on that.
He's got that Gabe Kaplan game.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
cane. Oh, shit. Like, they're all into it.
Hey, we weren't around back then, man. That was the style.
The
Fuck,
cane, the
man.
pretension.
The fedoras.
Yeah. I mean, like, they're real big into, like, snooty assholes, apparently, in the 70s. And
It's
so,
all cyclical. It'll come back around. Get ready,
well.
guys.
yeah.
We're almost there.
Bobby's already got the cane. He's ready. You're going to walk around with your wife and she's going to be like, oh, Bobby.
He's got his Tripoli
great.
collection going.
Just start being openly rude to my wife while holding a cane.
Yeah.
She's gonna be like, "Oh, he's the best."
And so they are now a team. They're going to spend the rest of this movie together.
Thank God.
Because he's like, well, I guess I'll bring you with me, even though I hate you. So then they go to the student's house, right? Oh, no, they just go to some place where, like, some guy's smoking weed on the street.
I like that they parked right in front of this garage that says "Do not block garage."
Yeah, they
And-
block.
And then they walk up to a kid that's just like smoking weed on the stoop.
The guy smoking weed on the stoop is the writer of this film.
Oh.
That's
The
his
apparent
little, that's his
writer.
little,
Oh, cool.
That's his little writer's cameo. Is like the stoner they run into.
Yeah, and Herschel's like, no, he wrote it. Not my fault.
It was that guy.
It was this guy.
And I hate that. And then I
probably
hate
on the
like,
devil's lettuce.
yeah, I hate this like scene that we get next is where it's like, hey, I want information from you. Oh, I'm not gonna give you information. Here's $10. Oh, I'll give you a little bit of information. Hands him more $10. I'll give you a little more information. It just
This is
sucks
the same
to
problem
me, man.
Dolomite had.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, it is just
like
like
you
I
want
said,
more info, you got to give me some more money.
It's just not far out from Dolomite, to be honest, with the structure and the comedy
Right.
routines
It's just
and
white
everything.
Dolomite.
It's not White Dolomite because there's just nothing great about this character. To where Dolomite at least like raps
disagree.
and contributes.
I think this guy's pretty great.
I feel like
think he's.
this needed a team up. I think Dolomite needed to
Oh
help.
God!
Gentry
They're
on a
solving
case.
crimes together. Oh, I'd love it, like a buddy cop with these guys.
Yeah, awesome.
Oh,
What does
man.
Dolomite care if a bunch of white ladies are getting killed?
So then they go to the well, basically he says like, hey, he went to go see some stripper, the student. Which, by the way, we'll never see the student.
No.
the apparent
No.
student. This guy's an enigma. So he goes to the stripper's house.
You're looking for a stripper. Looking down at my Guess Who game. Still waiting to click.
Yep. Yeah, he's like, you're looking for a stripper. She lives at this place. And then they go over there and, well, no, we cut to the stripper house. And I like this. Practice makes perfect, guys. Because she's looking at the mirror and she's like, all right, got to learn some new moves. And she's just kind of practicing her strip in the mirror. And she's like, what do I go? Maybe off the right shoulder this
She's
time?
just
you know?
rubbing herself for like minutes on
Yeah.
screen.
She's coming up with a new routine.
Yeah.
She's like, does this look sexy?
That's called putting asses in seats.
She's
dude.
like doing a Buffalo Bill in the mirror.
Did she not have a pole installed in her house then?
Not yet. She's
Okay.
gonna. It's
She's
coming
working
in
on
next
it.
month. You
Yeah,
know?
okay.
But right now, she's like, trying out new moves.
And
She's
because of
getting
our
the-
cold open, are you guys a little tense? It's another pretty lady looking at herself.
we
in the
know
mirror.
exactly what's
Yeah, I
gonna
mean,
happen.
there's no like.
I'm
there's
feeling
no
tension. I'm
there's
like,
no
oh man,
shock
is
or
she gonna go
tension.
through that mirror?
No,
That was
No.
the feeling I had. I was like, man, we just did this.
Is somebody? All of a sudden we see a black glove holding a rubber mallet that just comes over and like hits her.
Yeah, we're getting the leather face.
Then she falls onto her bed. He slits her throat and then stabs her up. And then we just cut to like a paper mache skull.
and like pushing around to eyeballs.
Yeah.
It's just don't fucking play with it.
Well, this is
he's
like-
just rubbing his fingers through like the fakest Halloween prop.
Well,
Yeah.
I can compare this scene to like remember Robin Hood Men in Tights where she makes the omelet and Uma Thurman makes this omelet and it has eyeballs and like egg and like barf on it.
That's Uma Thurman?
Not Uma Thurman.
John.
Tracy Ullman. Tracy Ullman.
Oh, okay.
She plays the witch, and
Okay,
she
yeah,
makes
yeah.
it looks almost like if you could take the egg from yellow to red, it's exactly the same thing. It's not even that gory.
It looks like someone giving a plate
Yeah.
of spaghetti a massage.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
It looks ridiculous.
Like a toddler playing with SpaghettiOs.
I just write, what the hell is going on? Like, yeah, you're just
She's like
watching
putting
this
the
for a
eyes
couple
back.
minutes.
Yeah, she takes the eyes out, puts them back in the brain, and just kind of squishes it around.
Yeah. And well, it's all a red herring. Like, this is all done for effect because
Yeah.
we'll see.
Yeah.
So we go outside, Gentry and the newspaper, they show up to the apartment, and then they go inside and find her dead. I love this, though. His newspaper just walks in, she goes, ah, and then falls on the ground and just passes out. And then Gentry just goes into the fridge.
Get this fucking 7-Up.
To 7-Up and just pours some on her, and she's like, what'd you do that for? And he's just like,
You don't want the cops finding you on the ground. I'm
Yeah.
like, why the fuck does that matter?
because he said something like, they won't step over you.
There was a kind of neat moment that we kind of passed over. For all that this is gross and silly, she gets hit with the mallet. She falls down, and the bubble gum she's chewing blows a bubble that is filled with blood.
Yeah.
I was like, all right, that's kind of cool.
And so he gets that 7-Up, wakes her up.
Yeah.
He says,
You think they
I
sent
figured you
this
wouldn't
to
want me on
the-
the floor when the police arrive.
Well,
You think they sent this to 7-Up people?
no, he should have had one like, why'd you do that? And just, well, because I already went to the bathroom.
And so then the body has OK written on it, by the way, in
Yeah.
blood.
On her
That'll
ankle.
never come up again.
It means
just there.
nothing.
Yeah.
I like the police phone call that he makes. Did you write
Wonderful.
that?
How could you not
Yeah,
like
I
this?
have that written
No,
down
I
where he
like
says
that.
to the cop, a friend of mine stepped in some trouble and seems to have lost face.
Lost her face. Not like lost face is the term that he's going for. But he goes lost her face, and I'm
Yeah.
like, no, that's not how
No,
that
I
line
love it
goes.
because it's so
look-
on the nose. It's insane.
Look, 007. We don't need your fucking Connery quips every single
But
time.
that's what makes it so great.
It is part of the charm of this movie. Is this guy is coming across the most horrifying crime scenes and just being like, grabbing a soda and making jokes.
And the best part is the cops at no point ever think that he's the killer.
No.
Like they're just like they don't suspect him
No
at all.
questions asked.
Because later on they're showing up and the lieutenant's just walking around. He's like, Gentry, how? Like I don't understand. Why are you here or something? And he goes like, you don't need to know that. Ha ha.
But let's talk about when he gets there. When the guy he calls shows up, the lieutenant, I believe he is,
Yep.
because he comes in at fucking 11. He's like, stop taking all these goddamn pictures. I'll arrest every damn one of you. We're like, I like this guy. This guy's coming in
Oh,
just
the
like,
lieutenant,
"Everybody
Anderson.
fucking quit."
I love him. He's great. The guy who does this is great. I did find out actually this guy was a stage actor. He put on a production of
Well,
Grease.
he's playing to the back row.
You play Rizzo.
Yeah. He later directed it, by the way. So Gentry and newspaper just leave. Like, so he starts asking me, he's like, why are you here? Like, what are you doing
No,
here?
he was asking him for leads. He's
Yeah,
like,
and
do you
he's
have any
like-
leads? And Gentry's like, nope, and leaves. He just nopes out of the scene.
He's like, nope. And then they just walk out and he's twirling his cane and twirling his mustache and all
they're-
sorts
and
of
he-
things.
And he's calling out in the next scene when he's walking with the reporters. He's like, I'm not here to instruct people.
Yeah.
And,
He's just like, I don't like them. I don't like the cops. You know?
but that's his buddy. Like, hey, this guy answers my call every time I call him, no matter what. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know why your main character is just a piece of shit. Fucking hate him.
So this woman, so newspaper looks at him. She goes, well, where are we going next? And he goes, to my place. And she's like, oh, really? And he goes, well, I'm not going to fuck you. We're going to go over. I'm going to get you really drunk and I'm going to leave you there.
Yeah.
So I can do police work on my own.
He's going to drug her with sleeping pills.
Yeah. He's like, I'm going to make you take sleeping pills so you leave me alone. And then he's like, all right, fine. They just get in the car and drive off to find more about a stripper. Go to another strip club. So progressively, the strip clubs get a little bit nicer.
Well, the women just have more clothes on them.
Well, but also the building is like, so we've gone from like basically like a meat locker to like now we're at like a pool hall where somebody's dancing naked.
I got news for you. They just turned the camera 180
I do
degrees.
think they just turned the camera. But it looks a little bit nicer. So this one, by the way, a little bit more filled. And it's got a bar, like an actual bar that you can go to in a different room that's not the same room they were filming in. It's a completely different location that there's a lot of this like where they pretend they're in the same location by somebody looking through a doorway or a window, and it's clearly not, but they're just like, keep it covered, nobody will know. So this other strip club, we watch another show, bit livelier. People are into this show a little bit more.
There's men and women in this crowd watching her strip.
It's a couples one.
And it is a black woman that is stripping
Yes.
to an all-white crowd.
Yeah. And it goes on forever.
It goes on for...
Forever. But this is my favorite part is in my notes I just write, we just cut to a bar where some guy is drawing faces on melons and smashing them with his bare hands.
Yeah, nice of Gallagher to show up.
Actually, his name's Ralph.
Oh my God.
Grout?
Grout.
Yeah. Grout.
Original Gallagher.
Grout Gallagher.
Yeah.
Where do you think
Gallagher.
Gallagher got his ideas?
He was watching this and went, there's something there. I can do that.
oh, you know what? Instead of bashing a woman's face in, I'll bash a melon in. And then he got a whole career out of
Yeah,
it.
he goes, why do they call them apartments if they're so close together? Then he hits.
You know what'd be great is actually every time Grout did that, they panned over to the other end of the bar and Gallagher's on a stool going, do it again.
Taking notes.
He's wearing a poncho.
He's in the splash zone.
So the strip show ends, and then Gentry goes to the bar and orders a drink for newspaper because he's going to get her rat ass drunk.
Well, first he like smashes her foot with his cane.
Yeah, he puts his cane and she's like, your cane's on my foot
Well,
again.
they cut to it like ultra close zoom, like to show that it's actually on her toes.
Yeah, and then he goes, I put it there because I don't want you to move. And she's like, okay. And he's like, what do you want to drink? And she's like, I don't know. And then he goes, I'll get you something. And he orders her, he goes, give me a drink with 4 shots of tequila in it to the bartender. Oh, no, the surly waitress is back.
The surly waitress is now a waitress at this
Because
bar.
he also says to her, he's like, I was just at a strip club and you were there. And she's just like, yeah, well, fuck you. I work all these strip clubs.
He said, I didn't
You
mean
know
to
how hard
ruin
it
your
is to
day.
take drink orders all around town?
He's like, I didn't want to ruin your day twice.
And so she's being a real jerk to him again. But I guess at this point they have a good rapport, you know, like they got a good thing going. He orders newspaper a drink with 4 shots of tequila in it.
How can you not talk about the waitress's shirt that she's wearing? She's wearing like this brown onesie, and then where her boobs are these like pink nipples.
Yeah.
They look like doilies.
Like she's playing Connect 4 on her shirt or something. It's very bizarre.
It's like a bad Christmas sweater, but nipples.
Christmas pasties.
You think that style lasted or just, that was a one-off?
I don't know.
It was cold.
Yeah.
It was very cold. Nipply, if you will.
So this drink that she gets they call it a zombie because it knocks you out and whatever. And it's going to have 5 shots of tequila in it. It's so strong.
It's ridiculous, though. And then he orders it. He's like, bring it to that girl. And we watch the entire process of him making
You
this,
learn how to
quote,
make a zombie with 4 shots of tequila.
Which, a zombie's a real drink if
Yeah.
you go to a tiki bar.
It's
But
not
this,
usually with 4 shots of tequila.
It's not
Yeah.
this
tequila.
is not a fucking zombie because all it is a guy going like, yeah, you want a zombie? Yeah. In Pittsburgh, that's 5 shots of tequila on ice. That's it. Like, he doesn't even shake it. He just hands him a cup. He's like, there you go, huh? What,
And
you
he-
want some blue food coloring in it?
And he was so like enthralled with this guy making this drink. He's like, oh man, that guy's so cool that he can make that drink, this new beatnik zombie drink.
Just 4 shots of tequila. in a cup.
Fucking.
And so then he pulls the bartender aside. He's like, can I talk to you? And they go to a table.
Yeah, but the way he excuses himself is he shouts to the other bartender and goes, hey, Charlie, take over for me. I got to take a shit.
Oh, we didn't even mention,
front
by
of
the
the
way.
whole bar.
Yeah, we didn't even mention, by the way, that Gentry cleared the bar out because he couldn't get to the counter to get an order by just going, she's taking it all off, and then
And everybody
all
runs outside. You're at a strip club. Like,
Yep.
Yeah, but
that's kind of the idea.
they never get fully naked. They always have pasties and they keep the panties on, if you noticed. So like for that, it was going off the
It was
rail.
a big show, you know.
If the movie was more like airplane style gags, just faster, I think I would have enjoyed it more.
Should have watched it faster, Hughes.
Yeah.
Should have watched it on 4 times speed. So the bartender, they go to a table and he's like, hey, can you tell me a little bit more about that Melon Smasher? And he's like, oh yeah, he's an ex-Marine who spent a lot of time in Vietnam. Apparently he would go through the rice paddies after a battle and just smash all the heads that were left over, including
Americans.
Americans.
Like, he didn't give a fuck. He just killed everybody.
And Gentry's like, wait a second, shouldn't he be like in jail or something? And he's like, no, man, he's here. He's working. He's all good. You know?
He protects the girls.
Yeah, he protects the girls. No, he's a good guy. He keeps to himself. And so this is just, he says, the Melon Smash is just a way for him to release tension, you know? And so Gentry goes back to the table with newspaper. She's trashed, obviously, because she drank 5 shots of tequila.
She's fake trashed. It's just bad acting.
Well, it's her first movie. She's trying.
I
know. She wants it bad. And then he's like, well, why don't I get you another drink? And she says something like, you don't need another drink to get in my pants or something.
Yeah, you don't need to
Right.
get me drunk to get in my pants.
And he goes, oh, I know. And he's like, no, I wanted to get you drunk so you'll just pass out and leave me alone. Or maybe you'll end up in the hospital with alcohol poisoning.
Because so many moments like this, they're trying to paint him like he's the actual killer.
Right?
in many
Yeah,
ways.
yeah. There's so many red herrings. Like, it's like the Melon
but
Smasher.
it's too obvious, though. It's too on the nose.
Then he looks at the camera. So at one point she says, well, I'll see you later.
He says, "I'm afraid not."
He breaks the fourth wall and just looks at the audience, and says, "I'm afraid not." And then we just cut to another strip show.
Yeah, but this girl is like in a full 3-piece business suit.
Yeah, so they're like, "Here
On
comes
stage.
the teacher," and she comes out, and it's like, wow, this
then-
one's gonna take a while.
And then we get the fast cut to PCU with the women's lib movement.
That's right. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so apparently all these women's lib protesters have snuck into the strip club behind the curtain, and no strippers have noticed.
Correct.
With all these giant signs, like
Yeah, the signs, by the way, lewd is crude, and quit with it is one of them. I don't know, quit with it. And then the other one is like a Black Panther fist.
Right.
we got a priorities kind of.
I got it from another one I was at. So
I just kind of wish I knew what women's lib was like at this point. If you were attacking other women because they didn't conform to your ideals.
this movie is very bizarre with how it portrays
Women's
it's
lib.
like it's like a farce on it, because they're like, she's not wearing a bra,
Yeah,
and
it's
they
like
hate strippers.
Yeah.
they were just painted as like really giant lesbians that just want to beat up on everybody because they're not lesbians.
Yeah, like a comical version of
Yeah, it's
feminist
weird.
or something. And so the strip show keeps going on. She's got like her, like you said, Hughes, her Ann Taylor 5-piece suit or whatever. She's down to the vest. And she finally gets down to her underwear. It takes forever. And then Gentry goes to talk to the Melon Smasher, but then he just like runs away.
He hears like the commotion of all the protesters. He's like, "Oh, I have to go save this girl," and he saves the stripper and not the reporter.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, because he wants information.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So he grabs this reporter off stage, or this stripper off stage, and takes her outside to his Corvette and just like puts her in the car and says, "I'll be back."
But the best part about the protesters is that when they go on stage, they just like slap the woman, they slap the stripper, and then one of them just goes to a table and just lightly flips it over. Like they're just like, ha! And
Got
then
him.
Apparently this is a riot, and everybody's like, what the hell are they doing? And then there's mass, pandemonium. Gentry brings her out to the car and like sits her in the car and everything, then goes back in for the girl. And she's finished her other drink, and she is just totally wasted
Gone.
at this point. I love this part, though, is that he pulls her outside, and then he's like, well, I'm going to bring her back, and not really, and then just drops her on the sidewalk.
Yeah, there's a sailor, like drunken sailor music going on in the background, and then she kind of just collapses on the sidewalk, and he's like, "Oh, that's okay," and he walks out, hails a cab, and he looks at the cab, and he goes like, "Hey, come get this girl," and then they go, "Hey, take," and then he brings her over to this passed out woman, pulls out her purse, hands the taxi driver her license, "Take her here," and then pulls her money out. "Here's the payment, keep the change," just like fucking like just robbed her.
Yeah. Yeah, he was like, here's her keys to her house and everything, like, no hanky-panky, just bring her home. It's like, okay. So we go to the stripper's house, right? And he brings the stripper back, and he's like, hey, do you know anything about Candy Cane? Because every stripper has a great name in this movie. And it's
kind of fun.
She's like, oh, yeah, she strips with us. It's a big circuit here. We all work at this chain strip joint. And he's like, yeah, she was murdered. And she's like, oh, my God. And I just write, this lady's acting. I mean, I was loving
yeah.
it. Like,
Yeah.
She's... Apparently somebody told her like the way to act is just blink a lot, because she's
Makes
just
sense.
blinking at a rapid fire pace, just like it's all in the eyes,
Who could have killed my friend?
And then he's like, hey, you know anything about that Melon Smasher guy? And she says, yeah, he scares me with how he looks at my head. Apparently there's a big problem with these protesters in town, so these like militant feminists
Threatened to kill
apparently
the strippers.
threatening to kill the strippers. She goes, but they've been harmless so far, but today, now that was a new one. She said, usually they just rip a costume every now and then. So like, what? They're about to go on stage and they're like, you're going to get stripped before you go out.
It won't be on your terms.
Yeah. Am I the heel of the night, or like a WWE match or something?
But I mean, like, so the way you protest a stripper is to
Exposing
strip her.
their bodies to people. That makes sense.
Like, you think it would be the way you protest is you throw like a big overcoat on her while she's on stage.
I thought you
or
were going to say
something.
ovary.
Yeah, big ovary at her. So apparently tonight was a special night, and they're getting a little violent. So they're worried about these protesters, because apparently feminists in 1972 in Pittsburgh, Their main thing is picketing inside of a strip club, not outside of it. They haven't.
Which means that they all have to pay the fee to get in.
Yeah.
Everyone's
Also,
throwing
keeping
down
the
the
joint
cover.
alive.
By all means, come on.
Listen. Women don't pay the cover.
Do they when they have a quit with tit sign?
They're
No.
like, is that a protest sign in your back pocket? No.
Or are you just happy to see me?
Taking a couple of girls to the strip club. They did not pay. I didn't pay for them either. I just walked in.
So Gentry leaves, and the stripper's mad. So she's mad that he wouldn't stay and have sex with her.
Oh, she is sad.
she's just
she's
like,
not even
where
mad.
You going? Where you going?
But it's kind of funny because the next thing she's walking to her fridge, and she pulls out a gigantic cucumber.
Yeah, it's like a big joke.
That made me
like,
every bit as uncomfortable as the gore stuff. in
And
this
as soon as she
movie.
pulled it out, then the music started, but I didn't. There's like a hand shadow coming up, but you don't see the shadow very well. So I'm like, is this cucumber evil?
Oh my god, man!
This is where we,
the cucumber's the killer. No.
Is this why she's called Pickles?
Wait, this lady's called Pickles.
Yeah, her name's Pickles.
Oh, it's definitely
That's
why she's called
fucking
Pickles.
disgusting.
One fell out
I
on
know.
stage one day, is what you're saying.
It was just vinegar in there, and it pickled the cucumber.
She pickled it. Thanks, Henny.
At the end of the night, she squats over a mason jar. That's how you get.
She's
Pickles.
Just looking to be wined and brined.
Yep.
Okay, so she picks out a big zucchini. She's gonna pickle it. Then, yeah, a shadowy.
Her name's Pickles. It's not a zucchini.
Okay, she built out the big pickle.
The big cucumber. It will eventually become a pickle
Yeah.
in a couple of weeks.
Oh dear God.
And so this shadowy figure appears. This is the weirdest kill I've ever seen.
Because the actress turns to the shadow and goes, "What are you doing here?"
So we know that it's someone the stripper knew.
Yeah. Dun, dun, dun,
Dun, dun,
dun.
dun.
Oh man, we're hot
Yeah.
on the case.
Yeah.
But
We're hot on the pickle.
the killer just puts it over her.
Puts her over the
Bends
counter.
her
Puts
over
her
the
over-
counter, pulls out a meat tenderizer,
Yeah.
and gives her a patty whacking.
Yeah. Just starts making her ass in a hamburger.
This is what
Can you get whacked in the butt till you're dead?
we'll find out at a bachelorette party. Ladies, tell us your tales.
Because she does eventually succumb to this.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
With a nice
Well-
touch, the killer also seasons it a bit.
Yeah, he puts salt in the wound, literally.
Ooh.
And also some pepper.
Didn't he smash the face on this one too?
Well, from that point
It
on,
gets there.
she dies
Yeah.
of the ass whacking, and then
Well,
and then he starts
yeah.
doing the Play-Doh face thing again, like last time.
Pickle is always known for her butt, so he had to
Oh,
tenderize
okay.
it. Tenderize it nice and hamburgery. Yeah, then he grabs the eyeballs out of her
And
skull.
just
Again.
start doing the dumb like we're fucking up a mannequin again.
Yeah, he grabs the eyeballs out of a paper mache person
Yeah.
and squishes them in his hands. The eyeballs are real, though. Those are from some animal,
Yeah.
and they do
Yeah,
look
that's like
very
that's
disturbing.
Like that's like a cow's eye.
Yeah, but it looks fucked up. It's
Yeah,
like
I'm Joe
um,
Rogan. Welcome to Fear Factor.
Fuck this. Yeah.
Yeah, he squishes those.
And this is it's unwatchable. But some of this gore stuff,
but
you want to
this-
just move right along.
This is the best part, guys. He sticks a fork in her because she's done.
She's done. Yeah. Fucking.
Oh, punny. What's great too is that all of this stuff predates the slasher boom by like a decade.
Yeah.
Like 10 years later, we're doing let's find some creative way to kill somebody with a meat tenderizer, you know? Like, Jason wasn't around to start doing this until, like, 84.
Oh, if there was only a time where Jason hit a lady on the ass until her it was just meat tenderized.
That's more of a Freddy move, I think.
yeah.
Sticks you on a grill and it's.
Yeah, definitely a Freddy one. Yeah.
Yeah.
So then we go to the cops. They're at the stripper's place.
beef?
Lieutenant Anderson has questions for Gentry. He's like, wait a second, why were you here?
and during this, at one point, he says, this one had her ass beat in.
Yeah, but we get he does a recount of what happened to get him there, but it's like different than what we just watched.
Well, he wasn't there. He wouldn't know.
Yeah.
This is his best approximation of what happened.
No, he was lying about what happened at the start while he was there too.
Yeah, no. He makes up this whole bizarre story to lead them on a thing
It's a
about
running
it being
gag
a religious
throughout this where
killer.
He's fucking with this guy
No,
because
just from this point, he does this.
Yeah.
and he continues it to the end of the film.
No, because there's another part
Well, there's
where
a payoff at the end where he does the
yeah,
punchline of this setup.
that's right. That's from this point, but the next interaction he has with the cop, the cop knows something that he doesn't. He goes like, "Oh, tell me the lead." Well, I'm not going to tell you anything.
Yeah.
and it completely
that's
reversed.
part of why he's trying to send him down the wrong path.
It was dumb. This was
Well,
dumb.
it's the ego of Gentry, where he wants to be the guy who solves this. So if there's another guy who's getting warm, he's going to try and make the trail go cold for him.
Yeah.
Have him start looking at the wrong stuff.
And also the lieutenant, by the way, is carrying around that bloody meat tenderizer the whole time. And at one point he sniffs it.
Fucking Gentry licks it. Gentry takes his finger on the thing and he dabs it and he puts it in his mouth.
Oh my
And he goes, ugh. And then the cop takes the tenderizer to his mouth and he goes like, ugh. Like, why would you do that?
I don't know.
No, because it fucks up the next scene. Because then the cop goes away and he stops the one police officer that's there and he goes, "Hey, buddy, how about I give you some money? You put a rush on this DNA order. You fucking licked the napkin already.
Yeah.
Like the DNA's yours."
Yeah. Well, so
Crime
apparently
scene is getting so
I
compromised.
fucking
he's got
hated
guys
this.
on the inside, so they'll run a DNA sample. No, there's no DNA, by the way.
No,
It's
definitely.
1972. There's no DNA.
That's what he was running for. Was
it
DNA.
would just be the blood type. There's no DNA in 1972.
I don't know.
But anyways, the lieutenant says he found a pin next to the body and it says "Women Right On." So it must be one of them damn feminists.
I knew it.
Fuck them. So then he gives him a piece of evidence, to the cop. So then we go to some lady's house. She's cooking fries on the stove and ironing a dress. And Bobby, we know, again, if a lady's alone, if a pretty lady's alone,
You know what's coming.
So the killer comes up and slits her throat and then takes the iron and just burns a paper mache mask for a while, which is really weird. It just burns the face of this lady. And then this part.
Now we're gonna cross a line here.
Yikes! He cuts a nipple off with like a scissor.
And fucking chocolate milk squirts out.
Like, okay, one of them is regular milk, one's chocolate milk. He puts them in 2 glasses and then clinks them together.
What the fuck?
He was making like a White Russian, basically.
This was weird.
He's lost me at this point. If he even had me to begin with.
But does he get you again when another lady just shows up randomly and then he takes her and shoves her face into the fryer?
Yeah. By the way, who the fuck makes French fries like that?
No, that used to be a way you could do it.
You fry them on the stove.
No, you fry them on the stove, but she just like dumped oil, turned on the flame, and dumped the fries in there direct,
right.
like
Wait
just
a
fucking
second.
like boiling them.
Yeah, well, you're right. It's like she didn't read that package.
I don't even know. Like I don't even know what you make. Like what do you put into the water before it boils to cook?
Those be the greasiest ass fries you've
Right?
ever seen.
Yeah, those are gonna be soggy as fuck.
It's lard, grease, and maybe a little bit of butter.
And you're gonna burn your mouth trying to eat that.
Yeah.
Like that shit's gonna have grease pockets when you bite into it.
I never thought of that. The idea that she
Now I
just
want
took
fries.
frozen fries, dumps them in a pile of oil, and then turns on the stove like,
I'm kind
yeah,
of
fuck
with you,
it, that's how you make it, huh?
I'll come back
Guys,
in
should
like
we go get fries after this?
sell taco fries like right now.
30 minutes.
Yeah. After you saw this lady's face get shoved into him, you're like,
And this totally gets knocked off a little bit about a decade later in My Bloody Valentine with a guy making hot dogs.
yeah.
Oh yeah, huh?
Same thing, like face gets pushed in the boiling water and we do like an inside the bowl little shot and it's good stuff, guys. It's good stuff.
But then all of a sudden, this goes into like some sort of slapstick routine as another lady comes in and starts screaming because she sees the dead bodies. And then 2 old ladies come in and start shaking her. And they're like, I don't know what she's saying. Keep shaking her.
It was like that airline
Airplane,
excuse me, yeah, where they just start slapping the one like calm down, calm down.
They pano out to the whole line of people with weapons waiting to try to calm her down.
So then the cops are here. They're talking to Gentry again. And then he reminds them about the religious theory. It just goes nowhere. Like, they talk for a while about this thing.
That's why I said it. Like Gentry and the cop have another scene together. There's talk about a planted Bible or something. I'm pretty lost on the plot. at this point.
It's
Like,
not supposed to make any sense. It's supposed to like
Confuse you. It's
Yeah.
meant to confuse you.
and everybody right now thinks Gentry's the killer.
And rightfully so.
Yeah. Right, yeah.
they do.
Yeah.
At this point, the cop should be like, we're going to have to come down to the station. But instead, he's like, all right, newspaper, I want you to go undercover as a feminist. So remove your bra.
Before
And-
that, there was this weird scene with the reporter, the cop, and Gentry, where the reporter he talks to the reporter. Gentry talks to the reporter. She like leaves the room, comes back, and is like giggling in front of the cop for no reason. We have no idea what the fuck is going on off screen. We don't. She's just laughing. Like
This was a one-taker, Hughes. I
Yeah.
think they were just like, was she laughing? Fuck it, go.
It was fun. I had no idea what was going on.
We got 2 weeks to film this shit. We
Guys,
got
take it-
Henny coming in tomorrow, all right?
It's taking 2 weeks to get through this movie.
Gentry tells newspaper, he's like, all right, you need to remove that bra and go join those feminists. And she's like all excited about it. And then he says, well, I'm off to visit Henny Youngman. And we go to Mars's Heaven, quote, where the girls are out of this world, which is written in a like a cardboard sign and Sharpie
Oh, yeah.
outside this building.
Same guy did the sheriff's station in Dolomite.
Yeah. And then Henny Youngman is inside this lobby or like this bar.
Tight five.
Holy crap. He's just sitting there. He's like, I'll tell you.
My wife, she makes food fit for a king. Here, king. Here, boy.
And then all the guys, like, even his like, even his
I'll
like
give it that.
goons aren't even laughing. They're just like, yeah, boss, that's great. And then,
Because they've been listening to it for like 20 minutes.
yeah, this has been going on all day. They're like, if only, you know,
He's like, that's the third time we've heard that joke. He's
2 weeks away from retirement, man.
Just keeps on talking.
So then Gentry walks in, and there's this weird scene where he Batmans everybody.
It's amazing. We finally realized why he carries the cane. It's a whoop-ass stick.
So these goons, for no reason, just go to attack him, and then he goes, boop, 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 boop.
And the sound effects actually do the NBC chime.
Boom,
It's all
boom, boom.
And here's the
Just
weird...
incidentally.
Yeah.
Maybe that's where they got it from.
Probably.
Like, oh my
Only
God,
bad.
NBC going.
NBC. Somebody at NBC is a big Herschel Gordon Lewis fan.
And during this is like... Gentry is a known person. He's like the Sherlock Holmes of the fucking
Yeah,
everybody
shit
knows him.
Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
And he has to walk...
Shit, Pittsburgh.
And
Wow.
Schittsburg. And that's
Sorry,
where
anti-flag.
like the guy that owns half the town, all the strip clubs, is like, "Are you a cop?" And like, "No, you know who he is."
Yeah,
He's
because
just-
no, because then he says like, "Oh, Gentry, you're back, my good friend. Have you heard my latest joke?" And he's like, "Yeah, no, I've heard it, Henny. Stop.
Please just don't.
And so I started writing my notes while Henny goes into his second Type 5. Man, they just rolled the cameras and he went for it, I guess, because
Just do your thing, Henny.
he came in either real excited or hopped up on some white powder, just dancing around.
Fresh from the slopes.
Just tip-tapping around this set. And then I just started writing stuff like, Jesus Christ, every damn line is a punchline. Like every line.
That's what he did.
Yeah.
And then
He
so
was one-liners, man, and he's got the quickest jokes. He'll throw out like 24 of them in about 2 minutes.
is he going for the Guinness World Record of most one-liners in a minute or something? And so the surly waitress shows up, and she just hates Gentry so much. And even Henny Youngman's like, no, you don't know Gentry. He's a world-famous detective. You know, he's like Clouseau, but for American. And she's like, no, I hate this fucking guy. He's a real jerk. He's like always being an asshole and everything. Yeah. And then they come up with some bizarre idea where he's like, so Henny Youngman's obsessed with the idea of having amateur strippers compete for 10 grand or for 1 grand. I'm sorry. For
I was going to say
$1,000.
10 grand. Sign me up. Jesus.
And
I know it's raining men.
the surly waitress is like, that's a terrible idea because then you're going to have all these amateur women coming in and they're all going to be like, their boyfriends are going to show up and
Oh,
everything.
God.
You're gonna get the Coyote Ugly effect.
Yeah, that's what she uses, the Coyote Ugly effect. And so they're just like, no, you're dumb. We're going to do this. And then Gentry says something like, I got a friend. We'll run it in the paper. Huh? In the Globe. Front page.
Yep.
Before that, doesn't the boss like he goes like, she has no tits and no future, so don't worry about what she has to say.
Jesus.
Well, because Gentry's, it's very problematic because Gentry says something like, well, how come she's the only waitress? She works at every club. And he's like, yeah, he says that line like, she can't strip because she doesn't have any boobs or something.
No tits and no future,
It's like, yikes.
which is a plot point.
Hey, spoilers. you
Spoilers.
Hey,
So-
wait a minute.
Then this scene, I have no idea what went on because we just cut to a scene of Gentry in front of something that says the bodybuilders.
Right.
And he's talking to a big lady, like a bodybuilding lady. And then we cut
Yeah?
Is that where we cut to the newspaper?
to the bar and Gentry and the newspaper are talking and she went undercover. She loves the women's lib stuff, right? And she loved it so much she didn't even put her bra back on. hey, zing.
Yeah, that's the gag of it, is that she went to go talk to a bunch of these feminists, and now they've gotten into her head.
Yeah.
And she's starting to side with them.
She's starting to
Poor misguided Weston. Acting like women are equals.
she says the leader of the movement really, really hates strippers, but she probably didn't have anything to do with it. But she does like that somebody's killing them.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, okay. And he's like, well, hey, I got a thing.
Isn't very feminist.
I know
No.
you're a feminist now, but can you come on a date with me tonight and wear something super sexy? And she's like, okay.
Well, she's new to this feminism thing.
And then as I just write, I'm trying to figure out what Gentry's eating. To me, it looks like he's eating celery sticks and dipping them in a bowl of
I thought it was
split
like
pea soup.
asparagus or something with some kind of a
Like, what the I'm like,
What a
70s food is weird.
He made guac.
asparagus with
Cilantro
ginger seed
ranch.
dressing.
Yeah, this is like Pittsburgh guac in the 70s. They're like, we heard something about guacamole, so we just took a avocado and put it in a blender with water.
Trying that Boris Karloff guacamole.
Do they even have avocados in Pittsburgh now?
You know, Hughes, I've heard a lot of good things about Pittsburgh. I've never been there, but I heard it's a nice town.
It's very cold, but very nice.
Fuck any state. So Pennsylvania, where you have to pay to get in and pay to get out.
Oh, well.
Wow.
Hey, as representative of the great Commonwealth of Pennsylvania,
I know, yeah.
I resent that.
Bobby, have you been to Pittsburgh?
Yeah.
Is it nice?
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, there you go.
Have you ever seen Vicksburg in Pittsburgh?
No.
So
I gotta say, the guacamole though, a little runny.
So we
Leaves
get
something to be desired.
just a water in a blender, huh?
Yeah.
With a little food coloring added in. dip your celery in it, kid. It's
It's
healthy.
Guacamole's a sauce, right? Don't eat Mexican food in Pennsylvania. That's all I'm saying.
Ooh, mistake.
You want to
made.
get a brown sauce?
I think that goes for any state that doesn't touch Mexico. Just don't eat Mexican food in any state that doesn't touch
If
Mexico.
you're not in the Southwest, don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Actually, no. I once had a really nice plate of nachos in Seattle.
Now, how do you fuck up nachos?
Yeah, you can't really get that wrong.
No.
So Gentry and the newspaper, they're getting ready for the Great Stripper Off of 1972.
The Great British Strip Off.
Yeah, and they're at his place or something, and she's dressed very risque. He says to her, and she's like, "Oh well, I'm certainly willing." She's like, "If you haven't got the hint yet, Gentry, fuck me."
Yeah.
And he's like, "Not yet." So then they go to Henny doing a type 5,
Yeah.
right, for another 5 minutes. This is when you get Tom Jones cross his legs quickly. He's in critical condition. I don't know, like, is that supposed to be he's got a
Tom
big
Jones
dick?
famously has a giant dick. I'll give you a little Tom
Like
Jones history for
Gutenberg?
you. He actually was the first person that Elvira ever slept with, and she went to the emergency room.
Goddamn.
That's not a joke. That's part of her life history. She admits that. He put her in the hospital. That's how
This
gigantic
just sounds
he is.
like an Elvira type 5.
Yeah.
No, she tells that out of character in like interviews. She's like, "Yeah, I lost my virginity to Tom Jones."
Was she wearing
And,
her hair?
and she
at
also
the
went
time?
to L.A. because Elvis told her to. She has an interesting backstory.
Huh. Did they tell her to go to Knott's too?
Every year.
So she was
It's the
just
one decision she made on her own.
she was just
Yeah.
bugging Elvis forever until he goes like, you know what's a good town for you? L.A.
Well, basically, he was like, "You're too good for Vegas. Like, you shouldn't
Yeah,
be
get
here.
outta here."
You can go be in movies. You should go to L.A. and get out of this cesspool." At that point, Elvis
Stop
is on
bugging me.
Elvis is on the way down. You know?
You should totally go to Knott's.
Yeah. Go to Nussberry Farm.
You ever had a boysenberry?
So the strip show starts, the Great Stripper Off of 1972. We're going to crown the new Queen Strip.
Queen Strip.
Surly waitress walks over and takes her order. And I love this is like Gentry tries the order and she walks away in the middle of it. She goes, "Yeah, no." He's like, "All right, fine.
Oh, she's the best.
Bring me some of that water guac, please." And so then the Melon Masher's there just, I love this. She got to him and he's got 2 oranges in
Yeah.
his hands and just smashing them in his hands. Again, how do you not say this is like John Waters? This is like a character in a John Waters movie where some
is.
guy is going to like smash melons in his hands.
You have to understand my state of mind by this point in the movie is not who does this remind me of or who was influenced by what is
You're just like, how many
Just-
more minutes?
I'm writing down like on to the next chick. How many fucking chicks have we seen strip in this movie that haven't gotten naked? Like I'm watching a strip show where nobody gets naked and I just am forced to watch it.
Yeah, well, it's classic. You know?
It's not. It was not classy. That was the whole thing. It's the trashiest non-nude scene I've ever seen.
But then you cut to more Henny type 5. So like you see one lady strip for a long time. You see the Melon Masher. Then you got more Henny type 5. Then you get another strip show where Gentry remarks how it's the sexiest woman he has ever seen, and newspaper gets super jealous, starts getting more and more drunk, and she's like, I strip better than her. I strip better than this hussy. And then in the background, Melon Masher just runs out of the room. So he either had to go to the bathroom or something happened.
Well, his hands are so sticky from smashing all these fruits. He had to go wash them.
And so then the newspaper flips out, jumps on stage, enters herself in the Great Stripper Off of 1972. She just dances with what, as I write, is pissed off intensity.
To
It's
one
awkward.
person.
Like she's just staring angrily with a scowl on her face.
It's a hate strip.
Yeah, hate strip. And the crowd's loving it. They're just like, woo, going crazy.
All 8 of them.
And I write, she's like dancing to Hail to the Chief.
Yeah, this
Oh
is.
yeah, they had no music for her. This was not prepared.
They're like, play something. Henny, bring out that
I
violin.
think just off camera, Harry from Christmas Eve was watching the Thanksgiving Day parade.
Whatever was royalty free.
So Gentry and Hetty watch it. Everyone gives her a standing O. This is my favorite part of the whole movie. Is Hetty runs on stage. She's like, she wins Miss Stripper. Also, she's now the featured star of my strip club. And I was like, that she has a job.
No, that job's done.
I don't think it works that way.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, she works here now.
I made a few phone calls. I put in her notice.
He's like, you didn't look at the fine print. So later, Henny's the real Gazoo of this movie. Like we say, there's always got to be a Gazoo to somebody.
He's sort of the penguin of this movie. That's why the goons were there earlier. This is.
So later, she's drunk on the couch. Like they go back to Gentry's house.
Before that, we see that we get a shot of the waitress in the back that was watching the whole thing. She gets pissed off and leaves.
Yeah, she's so mad.
Yeah.
So we go later at Gentry's place.
Gentry has taken her back to his house, and she's still trying to get that D. And he's like, no, I'm going to let you sleep this off because he's not going to take advantage of that.
Yeah.
And so he lays her on the couch, and then he walks out.
Then the killer walks in with a bottle that says acid made in Poland. And I'm like,
That's very
wow.
distinct.
So like we got to get a Polish joke?
I was
For the
expecting
movie
Henny
star?
Youngman to lean in and have a joke about it.
Heil honey moment.
He's like,
honey.
you ever had acid from Poland? Too dumb to even kill somebody, huh?
Her name was Ruth.
So then she sees the killer come in. She freaks out. Gentry comes in, and he's like, "Ha! I knew it was you, surly waitress."
Of course.
And
And lo and behold, it turns out that the one perpetually furious character in this movie is going around killing people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who knew?
And that is next thing I write in my notes is I'm so confused. I just write, what happened?
Because in a lot of these shots where it's, showing the killer with the jacket on, you see the arms. The arms are very, very, very hairy, and it's clearly a man.
Yeah.
So they're
No
clearly
question.
explaining you about that.
But what
But
happens
Mrs. Voorhees,
is
when she gets her head cut off, male hands with hairy knuckles reach up.
It's true.
there's about a 5-second struggle before.
And then she says, fuck this, and she dives out the window to her doom. We get a sweet dummy drop that goes when it hits the ground, immediately in time for a car to run her head.
Yeah.
A toxic Avenger.
Oh, yeah.
It
Yep.
runs over
Yep.
the head.
And honestly, for all that I wasn't feeling the gore for a lot of this, I laughed my ass off.
Yes, I was like, what?
It got me back.
This is how the movie ends.
That it's just like in a quick succession, just like splat. It's hysterical.
Oh my god. Okay, then Gentry comes in and like he's like, we cut back to him, right? And he's all, yeah, apparently she was killing people because she was jealous she didn't have boobs. Oh, there was that part. Yeah.
Yeah.
He like pulls her shirt down and it's all
Reveal
scarred
that
up
she's
or
got
something.
like Freddy
Yeah.
Krueger.
And she has no hair.
At first I was like, oh no, does she have like breast cancer or something? I thought that was terrible. I was like, Jesus Christ. Like that's the worst story element
Yeah.
I've ever heard.
No, it's just lupus.
She's got this like ill-fitted bald cap. Like she's
That's why
like
I
she's
thought-
filling in for
Yeah.
Ernie Hudson.
That's
in
why I
a Nolan
thought I was
movie.
like,
Yeah.
oh no, don't pull her hair off and she's going to be bald. Like, fuck, that's fucked up. No, she was burned in a fire
yeah. Like I said, we have the bad Freddy Krueger burns.
and apparently burned so bad she lost her chest.
Yeah, she lost everything, and the plastic surgery only fixed her face.
Yeah, so
this actually has a lot in
She's-
common with Aerobicide.
basically like a raisin with a head on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's a
you ever
California
seen-
raisin.
If you ever seen the Mr.
California raisin with a lady's head on it.
If you ever seen the Make a Wish from Mr. Show, where they visit the kid
yeah.
and he jumped into the acid.
Oh, yes,
It's-
yes.
Yeah, it's exactly what that looks like.
I remember that.
So, yeah, that's when she jumps out the window and
Yeah.
she says, fuck this.
She doesn't even do like a Hamlet quote or anything. Like
No,
in
but-
New Year's Evil, she just says to hell with it and runs out.
But Gentry sees her jump out the window, get run over, and then he turns and like starts walking back into our scene. He goes, "What a character!"
He goes, what a character. That's Marlene. And that's it.
that Marlene.
And then he calls Lieutenant Lillard, or not Lieutenant Lillard.
Matthew Lillard.
Yeah.
He calls-
He calls Matt Lillard. And
Yeah,
he's
he
like,
calls
"Hey,
Lillard.
Wild Things was great."
I don't think he said that.
yeah, he's just calling to
You
tell.
know,
I saw
that
this
would've
movie
been a-
Wild Things.
That would have been a better movie, though.
Oh, was it
Matt
who was,
Lillard
Who
in
was in
Wild
Wild
Things?
Yeah,
Things?
Mila Jovovich? No,
You're
that was
thinking
the.
of, hold on. It's Matt
What?
Dillon.
Matt.
Yeah,
Dillon.
you're thinking of Matt Dillon.
Oh, Matt Lillard from Hackers. Oh,
Yeah.
Matt
shit.
Lillard from Scream. From
From
Scooby-Doo.
Scooby-Doo.
From 13 Ghosts.
Yeah, he calls up
Oh,
Shaggy.
God.
No, so
Oscar, I like that movie.
Oh, 13 Ghosts.
13
I
Ghosts
saw
is
that
one
in
of
the
my favorite,
theater.
like, shit
Hilarious,
movies. Yeah.
right? One of my favorite parts of that movie is when they do the slow motion shot of her putting water on her face, like, we're rich now. It's a great part of the movie.
Amazing film.
I saw
Go
it in
out
the
and see
theater.
it.
Laugh my ass
How
off.
is that not being brought back out as a 3D movie? Putting on
because
special
it's
glasses
terrible.
is part of the goddamn plot.
Yeah, I agree.
I would go to a 3D screening of that.
Oh,
I don't give a shit.
yeah, Monk. Monk
Oh,
is the
yeah.
dad.
Yeah.
Tony Shalhoub.
And F. Murray Abraham slubbing it. I don't want to get
It
too
is
off track.
it's
talking about
seriously
13
the
Ghosts.
worst
I can
cast
do
of
a
all
whole
time.
We can do a whole podcast on
You
13
have
Ghosts.
F. Murray Abraham, Shannon Elizabeth, and Monk.
And Matthew Lillard.
And this is a family.
Our hero, Matthew Lillard.
Happy
Yeah.
Monkoween.
Yeah, they're
You
like
haven't
a
seen it, huh?
family. Like
I'll lend it
Tony,
to you.
Tony
It's worth a
Shalhoub's
watch.
like their
I have
dad.
nothing to watch it
Yeah,
on,
there's
but
like
okay.
someone that died, like the wife
have a
died or
DVD player
something,
anywhere?
and then going to like some inheritance.
Gentry calls back the lieutenant, and he's something about like the killer died by falling out a window. He's like, "We got another." Wasn't me though.
He's so chill about this shit.
And then so him and newspaper are an item now. We cut to later. They're hanging out, and she was offered a job at the strip club, but she's the fucking newspaper reporter. Like she's like, check out this article I wrote about the killing.
And she's now fucking the world famous detective that's making a shit ton of money.
About to, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
And he gives this long monologue talking about like pro wrestling.
Okay, so then he
God.
Because
references
he's explaining the whole
the
backstory,
one
none of which
scene-
is in this movie.
The-
really.
No. He references the one scene that didn't make sense.
Yeah.
He goes, I knew right when I visited that lady wrestler place that everything connected. And I'm like, hold up.
And he
You're
gives her
referencing a
backstory. He
scene.
explains everything about why she's
that
killing
was
people.
yeah.
Yeah, and how this lady, Marlene, was apparently a professional woman wrestler who was really great, and she would like smash people.
Yeah.
Like the original Curb Stomp or something, and then she got burned in a fire.
You know, she lost to the Undertaker in a
Yeah,
Like
in
an
a casket
inferno
match.
match. She and Kane lost that big tag match.
Holy shit! This is like his sister. This is Kane's sister.
Oh, man, this is the
my
Undertaker's
God.
long lost sister.
Holy shit!
Vince McMahon's a Herschel Gordon Lewis fan. And as he's explaining it, he has then she lost face 3 times. First with her wrestling fans, then with her strip club patrons, and then between a layer of concrete and the wheel of a car. At least she went out in style, though. It was a new car.
Yeah.
This fucking guy.
Then he just recounts the rest of the plot.
Yeah.
And tells you all the red herrings and
Wraps
why
it
you're
up
an
in a big
idiot
old
for
bow.
thinking.
Yeah, here's why you were wrong.
Then this movie ends better than I think any Grindbin movie has ever ended. Does anybody want to take it?
Yeah, he's about to get down and dirty with this new girl, and he goes, "Hey," looks right down the barrel lens. He goes, "You guys have seen enough," and proceeds to pull the top of the screen down like he's drawing down the blinds, and come down. And then the end comes down.
Oh, man.
Like the Universal logo
Yeah.
says like the
Yeah.
end, and then we cut it real quick. So
That's when
not
I get the-
copyright.
That's when we're supposed to get the.
Like it doesn't even let end come. It just goes and cut black.
Yeah.
It's done.
They ran out of film.
So good.
So recommendations?
Yes.
Yeah, I'd say yes.
It's a yes with reservations.
It's a fun one.
It's kind of fun, and it's complete trash.
Yeah.
Oh, guess mine.
You love it.
is.
No,
That's
no
a hard
way.
no.
This is a huge lose.
You were so pissed when you were texting us about this movie.
Oh, I was sending
were
pictures.
furious.
I was sending pictures, screen grabs to Bobby because he had finished it early, and I'm like, this is just the dumbest shit ever. I hated this movie. I hate bad acting. I hate purposely bad acting. I hated this movie. I didn't like. There was no consistency even on like the script level, and we haven't had one good whodunit exploitation at all.
I don't know if there are any.
I don't.
Yeah.
The fuck
Well, we
if I
could do
know.
a Giallo movie.
Kind of goes against the exploitation.
We could do a Jello movie.
Oh, I got one already for you.
We'll
We'll talk later.
There's been consistent movies that we've covered.
Inconsistent.
Been consistent.
I feel this movie was been consistent.
Yeah. I thought this was good. I mean, it's not great, but I thought it fits right in there with it.
I think this movie would have been better if it followed the backstory of one of the other films that we finished, like Dangerous Men, where there's a reason it's bad. Not that I just made a bad movie, and I know I make bad movies, and people find it entertaining. And
This especially at the tail end where it's like whatever inspiration he had, it was long gone.
yeah,
Yeah.
He was just cranking it out, whatever, fuck it.
Yeah.
Daddy's getting paid.
yeah.
thank you.
I hate pay movies. Like I'm just doing this for the paycheck. I hate that.
Well, thank you to our patron who requested this. Shane McCollum, thank you for requesting this movie. You've made Hughes really pissed off, and we enjoy that on the Grindbin. Nothing better than a Hughes rage.
He blew the Hughes fuse.
He blew the Hughes fuse.
The Hughes fuse! Oh, my God.
Yeah, good one, man.
Hughes, you hear that sound, though?
I get to tap out this week because I've had 2 or 3 good ones. I'm done. Everybody else go hear that. Hear that
Wait a
horn.
second. You're not even doing Bobby DeVito?
No, fuck that. Fuck this movie. They don't deserve to be in this universe.
You just said I've had 2 good Bobby DeVitos in a row, so I don't have to do it anymore.
Jesus. Hollywood Hughes.
So, Hughes, you have no opinion, huh?
No, they stayed home, had an extra long weekend, took a nap.
I'm saying that.
Damn it! What do you think, man? What do you think, Bobby DeVito? I did definitely think that at some point when he's going around, he's like, we got a couple leads. We got the Melon Smash. Oh my God! Wait, hold on. You know the elusive student that we never saw.
Yeah.
And that guy was smoking a joint. We finally found out. That student.
Yeah.
Well, he rides around in a yellow van. And we're pretty sure he might be the killer. He's been picking up strippers all over, writing checks with the word cash on them that are from a car wash. And he's, for some reason, getting all these strippers to drink turpentine in their beer.
Castor oil.
Yeah, castor oil.
Yeah.
So that they go to the bathroom real quick, and he's like, oh, you don't feel good? Maybe go back to my place. Make you feel better. Yeah. So I definitely think Bobby was one of the leads. He was definitely that missing student you were hearing so much about. The one who didn't understand that strippers are teases. I didn't get it.
I think, he's the guy that wrote the check.
As we've seen throughout the film, it seems with each strip club we visit, the rent's getting lower for each one. I think eventually we get to another strip competition for money, but the stripper is standing on a waterbed going, "This strip club's awfully small. Are there any other people in the competition?" And then the van gets rolled by feminists. Just run in an angry mob and turn it over.
Oh, imagine if the van ended with a bunch of feminists attacking Bobby.
It should have. If ever there was a character that deserved to be taken out by a mob of angry women.
And they rip his dick off.
No, they ram a cucumber up his ass.
They ram a cucumber up his ass, cut his dick off with some gardening shears, and be like, never again. Never again will this violate a woman.
And then they take an iron to his face, and then they start playing Play-Doh with his head.
I think they cauterize his dick with his iron. With the iron, that's what it's used for.
Yes, they cut the dick off and then cauterize it,
if it's
so he can't be a John Bobbitt. They're like,
in the
nope.
universe of this film, that's exactly what happens. And it's like 20 minutes long of just them hitting him over the head with his own penis.
This being eviscerated.
Him just go to the hospital, him go to the emergency room with his dick in his hand, being like, "Can you please give me attention?"
There's nothing we can do.
There's nothing we can do unless you want it on your forehead.
He just calmly walks out and grabs a lamp.
This plugged in?
Not for long.
What do you think?
That was a communal contribution
that's a
there.
good one.
That's a
We came
group
together
effort.
as a group.
Group effort.
Go team. Well done.
I'm glad the Patreon picks have been going well so far.
Yeah.
God, every pick has been great, in my opinion.
We were on a roll, and then this one came.
Wow, Hughes.
I never hide movies I don't like.
No,
I
that's
never
true, that's
like.
true. We particularly blew the Hughes fuse.
Yeah.
So, guys,
I make a
You
graphic
were
for
pissed.
that.
You were pissed after you watched this movie. You put on there like, "Wow, that was."
Oh yeah, it's a
Shit.
garbage film. And I can't say I hate it though. That's the weird thing about this movie.
yeah.
I
It's
think you just
garbage,
enjoy
but it's
us
great
talking
garbage.
about it.
It
and
does help.
Well,
That's
you
happened to me a
can't-
number of times where after we discuss it, I go, you know, I liked it more than I think I did.
Yeah.
You can't watch a John Waters, like an old John Waters movie, and say it was good. It's trash, but it's an entertaining trash.
Yeah, but it
Like-
keeps the same
Yeah, it's
tone
true.
through the whole movie.
Well, okay,
I don't
by
know
the
why
way,
I'm thinking about
though,
buying that box set.
I might be alone in my opinion, but I don't think Pink Flamingos is good at all. That's totally the worst John Waters
I'm
movie.
gonna go ahead and
Yeah.
I'll do you one more. I don't really care for John Waters.
Really?
I appreciate.
Have you
his
seen Female
existence,
Trouble,
Female
though?
Trouble was.
I haven't seen Female
one
Trouble.
of my
Okay, Female
favorites.
Trouble is
But
the
I'm
best.
so far yet to really enjoy a John Waters
Have you?
movie.
But have you seen Desperate Living?
That one I saw, yeah.
Okay, Desperate Living. Female Trouble is probably the best one
Okay.
in
And
terms
then
of his old
mainstream
movies.
I
would
won't give up on him
be
yet.
Serial Mom's pretty mainstream.
Serial Mom.
Pecker.
Yeah. Pecker's not as great, but Dirty Shame.
Dirty Shame's great.
It's weird. I like him. I just never been able to get into his films.
Like Rob Zombie.
Oh wow!
Or
Come on
Eli
now.
Roth
He's,
for me too. It's like
ugh.
I hate your movies.
I don't like Eli Roth
I feel
either.
like I like you though.
Yeah.
Like I feel like we like the
Well,
same things. I
maybe.
want to hang out, but I don't want to
Yeah.
go to your. It's like having a friend who's in a shitty band. It's like
Bobby's
like,
a real check it out.
Yeah,
I'll check it
it's like,
out, yeah.
You seem, you're
Yeah.
a good dude. You're my buddy. I
Yeah.
want you to do well.
Yeah.
Do I want to go to your show? I'll check it out.
I'll buy
So
a
you
shirt.
see Eli
Yeah.
Roth and Bobby hanging out, and he's like, "So Bobby, you see Green Inferno yet?" He's like, "Yeah, I'll check it out, man."
Yeah.
Just,
Yeah, I
you
saw
know.
it. It was great. What'd you think of the what? Which part?
Hey,
Can't believe you got Bruce Willis in it.
Yeah. Nah, fuck that. I'm not going to that one. I'm not going to that concert.
Nope. Guys, how do you think Bronson would handle this situation with the killers being killed, or the strippers dying and everything? This seems right up his alley.
What do you do when 99% of the people in this movie are white? What is Bronson going to do?
Well, I would think immediately he would shoot the detective. He would be like,
Just to be sure.
"Oh yeah, I think I know who this is. It's Gentry."
This one's open and shut.
Yep. Well, Chief solved the case. That's it.
Guess my work here's done.
Who was it, Bronson? I don't know. Some guy.
It's the same scene going out the window, but Bronson threw him.
Do you think there's a part when Bronson goes into that stripper's house with the pickle on the ground and he goes, "What's this for, Gentry? Jack it off!" And he waves it in his face.
Yes, absolutely.
Best part at 10 to midnight. Best part.
Yeah.
If you've never seen that movie, just look that clip up. Do yourself a favor. Just put in Charles Bronson. Is this for Jack It Off? Somebody's uploaded it. Guaranteed.
Warren, do you recognize this?
Leo,
What's
knock
that,
it off.
Warren? You ever seen one of these before? What's it used for? What's the matter? Cat got your tongue? It's for jacking off, isn't it?
Well, thanks again for joining us on another episode of The Grindbin. You can pick a movie yourself on our Patreon. If you just join our Patreon for as little as $2 a month, you can join and hear all our mini bins. We got 2 mini bins a month. This month we had the Heil Honey I'm Home patron show. Is
Probably the most uncomfortable sitcom you'll ever encounter.
Yeah. Fucking A, it was terrible.
Yeah, it was better to rewrite it than it was to watch.
Yeah.
Yeah. But entertaining episode. We also have a full episode up there, only for patrons, which is Beverly Hills Vamp, which
And
is way better than Mob Boss, by the way.
Honestly, not to toot, but it's one of our best episodes.
It really is. It's
I'm
kind
not
of
on it.
sad that
I didn't want to
only-
say why.
It is really sad that only like a handful of people have heard that episode, because really, I'm proud of that one, and it pains me to not release it to a wider audience. So
Wider? Oh, I thought you said.
Did you say whiter?
I thought you said wider.
I
honey.
said wider.
Oh,
sorry.
So if you want to join us, go to patreon.com/grindbin. And you can also find us on Twitter at GrindPod. We're on Instagram, the Grindbin Podcast, Facebook. As Bobby always says, what's that? Like us on
Like
Facebook.
us on Facebook, hate us on Twitter.
Yeah, and grindhousefilm.com is our website. Thanks for joining us.
Let's go get some fries.
Hey, Bobby, I got the money.
Yeah, I made the tea. But you're a hooker.
Get that goddamn thing out of your mouth.
What is set knockers? I don't know. Spooky got no real rhythm.
Hello, Mr.